After the young princess fainted, discover that you can hear everyone's inner voice. She looked at the trembling white moonlight who was crying, but her complaints echoed in his ears. Pretending to cry is really exhausting. Why hasn't Wang Wanjing come to comfort me yet? If I had looked like this before, she must have been heartbroken for a long time. During the 5 years away from China, could it be that she really had already lost love with Mu Chen? She had to get a divorce from Mu Chen as soon as possible. The Lin family's son-in-law can only be me. I want to be the most powerful person in this city. Wang Wanjing's pupils contracted slightly. He couldn't believe this was Zhu Zimo's true feelings. After more than 10 years of acquaintance, he has always acted with the fame and fortune of the Dan Kingdom. Unexpectedly, his heart was full of calculation. He thought the poison heart technique was just too outrageous. It must be a hallucination caused by brain trauma. But immediately after, another voice rang out. Even if Sister Maramaru and Mu Chen got their marriage certificate, her heart was still filled with me. All these years of hard work have not been in vain. I absolutely cannot lose my composure right now. As long as I come back, no matter what I ask, Sister Maramaru always shows off her posture, wealth, status, and identity. Everything she has is mine. Lin Wanwan squeezed her eyes shut. Zhu Zimo's greedy voice was clear in his ears, so he couldn't keep deceiving her. It felt as if all the blood in his body had gone cold. The person he loved for so many years was actually scheming against him like this. Lin Wanwan opened her eyes in anger. His gaze was icy as he stared at Zhu Zimo. Zhu Zimo was startled back by that unfamiliar look. A faint sense of panic arose in his heart. He grabbed her arm and asked softly, "Wang Wenjie, what's wrong with you?" Lin Wanwan ignored him. Zhu Zimo's unease grew even stronger. Just as he was about to press further, the doctor spoke up at just the right moment to remind him. Patients now need to remain quiet. Family members, please pay attention. The doctor's words had just finished speaking, when Xiuzhen yanked Zhu Zimo's hand away. He tossed it aside with a look full of disdain. Zhu Zimo suppressed his displeasure and spoke gently. "Aunt Wen, I want to stay here and look after Sister Wanwan." At that moment, I walked forward with a calm expression, watching her coldly retort. "What right do you have to stay and care for me? I am Lin Wanwan's rightful husband. Take care of my wife. This is my duty. What kind of outsider do you think you are?" Although I had already decided to divorce her, they want to completely stay away from these disputes. But before officially completing the procedures and leaving, I must vent the resentment from my past life. Zhu Zimo bit his lip in grievance. She turned to look pitifully at Lin Wanwan. In my inherent impression, as long as Zhu Zimo puts on this bullied face, Lin Wanwan would never let those who bullied her get off easy. But this time, Lin Wanwan remained expressionless. He didn't even spare her an extra glance. Zhu Zimo nervously clutched the hem of his shirt. Tears welled up in her eyes. Lin Wanwan finally said the first word she had since waking up. "I need some quiet rest. All of you, get out." She completely ignored Zhu Zimo's show of weakness. He even mercilessly ordered him to leave. Zhu Zimo's face instantly turned pale. He couldn't understand why Lin Wanwan had become so cold. Even before boarding, you could clearly hear her anticipation. But now is clearly not the time to dig deeper. Zhu Zimo wiped away his tears and forced a bitter smile. There was a hint of sadness in his eyes. "Then you should rest well first. I'll come visit you again tomorrow." But in her heart, she was calculating viciously. It must have been during my time abroad. Mu Chen's scheming is difficult. Seizing the opportunity to rise to power, I had long suspected she wasn't someone to be taken lightly. He clings to Wanwan like a little bug all day long. It was truly overwhelming. Wanwan's husband can only be me. Only by marrying into the family smoothly, the neighbor's main gate. Only then can I completely cleanse myself. An ordinary background. Lin Wanwan really couldn't stand listening to all these schemes. "Grit your teeth." Suppressing his anger, he growled lowly. "All of you, get out of here." Zhu Zimo sniffled in grievance. He had no choice but to quietly get up and leave the ward. His back looked especially lonely and desolate. When Xiuzhen quietly covered Lin Wanwan's feet with her back and said, "Wanwan, you rest peacefully in your hospital bed. Your dad and I are waiting outside the door. Whenever something happens, call us at any time." Lin Wanwan nodded tiredly and closed her eyes. I was eager to slip away. But just as I was about to turn away, Lin Wanwan, lying in the hospital bed, suddenly opened her eyes. You stay. I lowered my eyes, a mocking smile appearing on my face. He slowly walked toward the hospital bed. Suddenly, only Lin Wanwan and I were left in the room. The noisy and calculating voices of the mind were gone. Lin Wanwan's tense nerves finally relaxed. But this relaxation didn't matter. A piercing pain shot through his entire body. I looked at her calmly and asked, "Does it hurt on your body?" Lin Wanwan bit her lip and said nothing. I raised my eyebrows. Sit down on a chair by the bed. If anything unusual happened, it's best not to hide it from the doctor. Lin Wanwan's eyes were sharp, as if she were scrutinizing me. I smiled faintly, not depressed. But inwardly, he was secretly feeling emotional. We've been husband and wife for 3 years, after all. Your little thoughts. How could I not see through it? Lin Wanwan frowned slightly, full of confusion. We were married for 3 years. Are you talking about me and her? But we just had our wedding yesterday. Want some water? Lin Wanwan nodded slightly. I stood up and walked over to the water dispenser. Staring at the babbling water, I gradually fell into deep thought. I finally did it. He could face Lin Wanwan with a calm heart. Does this mean I can completely let her go? You can let go of the bonds of the past. To try embracing a brand new life. Actually, it's time to calm down. Think carefully. Who in this world can't live without someone? There is no love that will never fade. It's time for me to look forward to. He absolutely could not carry any more infatuation for Lin Wanwan. To open up my hard-won heartfelt voice, I reached out and turned off the water dispenser. Holding a water cup and cotton swabs, he returned to the bedside. Your situation is special now. Don't drink too much water. Let me dip a cotton swab in some water to moisten your lips. She gazed at me calmly. Though I feel my inner thoughts are full of strangeness. But I could still truly feel that I once loved her deeply. This completely overturned her previous understanding. She had always firmly believed I would marry her. It was because the Mu family had now fallen into decline. He wanted to use the Lin family's power to climb higher. There was no talk of genuine affection. Thinking of my parents who cling to the powerful. A trace of resistance unconsciously flashed in her eyes. They believe such families cannot produce good people. But the reality she faced was a harsh blow to her face. She had always believed that she loved her man without hesitation. Behind the scenes, he was full of scheming, and she was wary of people she thought were deeply scheming. Back then, he truly loved her with all his heart. How ironic. I put my water cup on the bedside table and sat down. After a while, he really didn't want to face her anymore. I'll find a caregiver to look after you. Lin Wanwan's expression instantly darkened. No, I'm not used to having strangers serve me. I widened my eyes slightly in shock. He deeply suspected that something had gone wrong with her mind. After a long silence, I went back to doing it again. I've already discussed it with Aunt Wen. I will be responsible for taking care of you until you are discharged. After discharge, we went to handle the divorce procedures. After calmly saying the word divorce, my tense shoulders instantly relaxed. He felt an unprecedented sense of relief in his heart. It was as if all the shadows from his previous life had vanished into thin air. Lin Wanwan still wore that expressionless expression. The word divorce didn't stir any emotional waves in her. I lowered my head and quietly stared at the hospital floor. A mocking smile quickly flashed in his eyes. I was really pitifully foolish back then. In my previous life, I was naively thinking I was sincere. With wholehearted companionship, you can move her. Deep down, she was clearly a cold and heartless person. The love she could give away was already very limited. He had already given everything to Ju Zimo at once. Where is there any extra affection left to share with others? Past life events. Lin Wanwan gradually sensed something strange. I seemed to have experienced a future that no one else had experienced. This was completely beyond her original understanding. We just held our wedding yesterday. She was already desperate to get a divorce. How will the outside world gossip? Have you thought about the consequences? I lowered my head and didn't respond to his gaze. Missing the fleeting complex emotions on his face. We can choose to hide it and not disclose it for now. There is no wall in this world that can't let the wind through. What exactly did he mean by that? I took the initiative to ask for a divorce to end our relationship. Shouldn't he have happily agreed immediately? After all, he hated being forced to do things by others. Being forced to marry me made him extremely disgusted. As a result, they rejected me even more. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, trying hard to dispel those bad memories in my mind. He looked up and asked her in confusion, "Don't you want to divorce me immediately?" Lin Wanwan awkwardly avoided my gaze. It's not that he doesn't want a divorce. But right now, at the center of the storm, separation is not appropriate. It will cause trouble for my work and life. I nodded knowingly. All right, I understand your concerns. Lin Wanwan frowned in confusion. What exactly did she understand? She was very eager to find out what I was thinking. But at this moment, my heart was completely calm, without a single ripple. Naturally, she had no way of knowing the answer she wanted. Take advantage of your free time to sleep a little longer. When you wake up, I'll go prepare something to eat for you. I stood up. Lin Wanwan hurriedly asked, "Where are you going? Will I disturb you while I'm here?" I looked at her in surprise. Lin Wanwan coughed lightly and turned her head away. "It won't disturb me. If I'm not mistaken." She seemed embarrassed. "It really feels a bit strange." Lin Wanwan's expression changed as she looked at me. It startled me suddenly. I tilted my head in confusion. "What's going on?" She pressed her lips tightly together and said nothing. I calmly sat down and started looking at my phone. Lin Wanwan was injured and her vitality was severely damaged. Not long after, he fell asleep. She looked at her with a faint, almost imperceptible hostility. It made people feel very unsettled. I got up and left to go to the restroom. After coming out of the restroom, seeing Ju Zimo standing by the wall, I wasn't surprised. Ju Zimo spoke first. "Are you complaining in front of Wanwan?" When Ju Zimo faced me, he never wanted to look me in the eye. It always seemed superior. There was always a hint of disdain in his eyes. This was the confidence Lin Wanwan had given her. I shook my hair and smiled. "You might as well try to guess for yourself." Ju Zimo was starting to lose control of his emotions. "Mu Chen, you need to figure out the situation. I don't want to say things too harshly. Wanwan and I were childhood friends. If Grandpa Lin hadn't stopped him back then, he refused to cancel the engagement. We're afraid we would have married long ago." I looked straight into his angry eyes. She smiled at him. "So what? So what if you're childhood friends? In the end, I was the one who married him. No matter how jealous you are, it won't help. All I can do is watch our loving relationship, to some extent. Except for Ju Zimo himself. I know him best. She knows how to pierce his heart." Sure enough, his breathing immediately grew rapid. "Mu Chen, how dare you say that? You think Wanwan will follow you? You really have no self-awareness at all. Wanwan really hates you in her heart. You're really foolish. Still playing dumb." Of course I knew this in my heart. He had long since recognized all of this. When I first met Lin Wanwan, back then, everyone was still a child. I thought she was really beautiful. He wanted to step forward and get close to her, but her aura was cold and distant. He exuded an aura of stranger confusion. I never dared to get close. We haven't seen each other since. Until the year the high school entrance exam ended. Grandpa Lin invited me to the Lin family. I know she is my fiancée. He fell in love with her at first. I also understand that she doesn't like me. He even felt very disgusted with me. Ju Zimo saw that I didn't say anything. He felt much more at ease. He showed a victorious smile. Wanwan is ruthless to people she dislikes. I'm doing this for your own good. I advise you to get a divorce quickly. Otherwise, you'll suffer later. Although she wanted us to divorce. But what he said was indeed accurate. I held back my nod. He said disdainfully, "Don't take yourself too seriously. You and your wife have been abroad for 5 years. People change. Just now in the hospital room, you should sense her indifference. You must already be starting to panic." I had just finished speaking. Ju Zimo's face turned pale for a moment. How could he not feel anxious? Lin Wanwan had never treated him so coldly before. I sneered as I watched. No unmoving corners of the wall. I put a lot of thought into 5 years. Where exactly do you get that confidence? Feel like he can't do without you. Will always hate me. Ju Zimo opened his mouth to argue. But for a long time, he couldn't utter a single word. Seeing how upset he felt. My goal has been achieved. I lifted my feet, ready to leave. Wanwan has loved me for many years. She will definitely love me for a lifetime. I stopped. He turned his head and said, "Then I want to take a good look. How long can you maintain this confidence? I will make sure Wanwan leaves you." Zhu Zimo clenched his fists tightly. His expression looked quite unpleasant. I let out a cold laugh. He strode away without looking back. He walked to the door of Lin Wanwan's hospital room. I didn't rush in. He recalled how Zhu Zimo had targeted him in the past. He even bullied me with Lin Wanwan. It plunged me into deep despair. It caused me tremendous pain. It made me suffer a lot. Now that we're starting over. Of course, you can't just count it lightly. But how exactly should he fight back? Directly clash with them? It really wasn't a wise choice. I don't want to be because of these two people anymore, ruining my own life. Heaven gave me a chance to start over, not to make me repeat the same mistakes. Let them lose everything they have. Fight fire with fire. It also plunged him completely to rock bottom, setting aside whether I have the ability. Even if I had to worry about it for the rest of my life, all they can do is live to fight back. Besides this way of retaliating, actually, there is another option. It is about ruining the relationship between them. This process can be imagined. It felt truly suffocating. Acting in front of people she dislikes every day. It was simply a terrifying ordeal. Thinking it over and over. Attracting opportunities to start over. Start a brand new life for yourself. Living comfortably for a lifetime is even better. I tried to convince myself once again. With a blank expression, he pushed open the door and entered the ward. Lin Wanwan was asleep at this moment. I went to the bathroom to wash up quickly. He came out and lay down on the family members' beds. Get ready for a good night's sleep. Busy all day. Didn't rest well. He slept especially deeply. When I woke up again, outside, it was completely dark. He picked up his phone and glanced at it. His mouth dropped open in surprise. It was already 5 in the morning. Have you rested enough? The woman's gentle voice sounded in his ear. I looked up at her. Feels pretty good. Lin Wanwan said nothing more. The ward returned to silence. Are you hungry? I was a bit hungry. The two spoke almost simultaneously. After saying that, we fell silent again. A trace of irritation flashed across my face. He threw off the covers and got out of bed. I'll go get you something to eat. Right now, you can only drink some porridge. When you bring it back, don't nitpick. I have to make sure I know in advance. Otherwise, bring the porridge back later. Lin Wanwan looked pale again, showing me. There really wasn't any need. Lin Wanwan nodded lightly. I knew it well. I put on my shoes and walked toward the hospital room door. Open the door and step outside. He saw Xu Jiaqi standing by the window. A smile unconsciously appeared on his face. Assistant Xu. You're right here. Xu Jiaqi was clearly taken aback. Then she lowered her head slightly awkwardly. Hello, sir. Suddenly, I remembered. At that time, Xu Jiaqi still didn't recognize me. The smile on his face gradually faded. He felt a trace of regret in his heart. Xu Jiaqi is Lin Wanwan's assistant. After I married Lin Wanwan before, gradually, he became familiar with her. Xu Jiaqi is a very nice person. I feel sorry for myself. He usually takes good care of me. I was deeply grateful to her. He had always wanted to find a chance to thank her. But now, starting over, he probably wouldn't have the chance to be friends with her. He could only keep this gratitude deep in his heart. I bent my arm and pointed toward the hospital room. Wanwan was hungry. Xu Jiaqi nodded gently. I'll go get the porridge right away. After Xu Jiaqi turned and left, I casually opened my phone. He saw the message sent by Lu Xiubai. How is Wanwan doing now? Cheng, are you okay now? Lu Xiubai has been my good friend for many years. I have now regained my chance. He had been holding back and hadn't contacted her. He was just afraid that after contacting her, my emotions will be completely uncontrollable. A man on the verge of collapse. Once facing a trusted friend, she would let down all her defenses. He instantly became incredibly fragile. Just like this very moment. My nose couldn't help but sting. I took a deep breath. His fingers quickly landed on the keyboard. Lin Wanwan was fine now. I'm doing well now. You don't need to worry about me. I'll talk again at school tomorrow. You actually want to go to school. You've finally figured it out. Even through the screen, you could see her excitement. I smiled faintly. He didn't reply to her further. I am a medical student at university. If it weren't for marrying Wanwan, at Wang Xiuzhen's request, he dropped out. I will eventually become a doctor. Living may not be exactly brilliant, but it is absolutely valuable and fulfilling life. I stuffed my phone back into my pocket, leaning against the cold wall, lost in thought. Shujiichi came back and saw me daydreaming. He really didn't want to make a sound to disturb me, but he was worried Lin Wangwan might get hungry and get anxious. She still walked over. Mr. Mu, I've already brought the porridge over. I snapped back to reality. He took the insulated lunchbox from her hand. He asked with a faint smile, "Is this delivered from home?" It was porridge personally cooked by the lady. It has been sitting by the nurse's station all along. He instructed the young lady to bring it when she woke up. Shujiichi spoke with a reserved tone. He truly sees me as Wangwan's husband. Thinking back to when I was next door. Someone who truly respects me. Anyone who can treat me like an ordinary person. It was only Shujiichi. I was holding the insulated lunchbox in my hand. He wasn't in a hurry to enter the ward. Instead, he stared at Shujiichi with concern and asked, "What time did you get here?" "Just after 7 last night. He came over as soon as he finished handling his business. Then I'll take care of things here. Go get a good night's sleep." Faced with my sudden concern, Shujiichi was slightly jealous. I could clearly feel a hint of discomfort, but she still spoke very respectfully. "Thank you for your kindness, sir. The old madam told me to stay here. I can't rest right now." I noticed the expression on her face, realizing this would put pressure on her. He could only nod helplessly. "All right then, I'll go in first." After saying that, I turned and walked into the hospital room. The sound insulation of the ward door is poor. Lin Wangwan was in the hospital room. I could hear the conversation just now at the door. I pushed open the door and walked in. Lin Wangwan's expression changed slightly as she looked at me. I didn't notice it at the time. He walked over and placed the lunchbox on the bedside table. Opened the lid and poured the porridge into a bowl. Then he sat down steadily in his chair, preparing to serve porridge to Lin Wangwan. The spoon was brought to Lin Wangwan's mouth, but she kept her mouth tightly shut, refusing to open it. My eyes were full of confusion. "Don't you want to drink it? You used to know Shujiichi." Lin Wangwan's eyes flickered slightly. I gently pressed my lips together. Then he answered naturally, "We don't know each other." Lin Wangwan's sharp eyes narrowed slightly. He looked as if a storm was about to strike. She showed this expression. I knew it all too well in my mind. I put the spoon back into the bowl. He asked in a calm tone, "How could he be dissatisfied with you? They are really too lazy to serve them." Lin Wangwan slightly opened her mouth. Then he closed his mouth tightly. She knew that if she said it, I would definitely put down my bowl and leave. And the kind whose head wouldn't leave it. Before figuring out what was going on, she didn't want me to slip out of her control. "Are you going to eat or not?" Seeing Lin Wangwan remain silent, I gradually grew impatient. Lin Wangwan had never heard anyone speak like that before. His expression instantly turned extremely grim. But she took a deep breath and continued eating. He really was starving. A bowl is just a basic cushion. She seemed like she still wanted to keep eating. I put down the bowl in my hand directly. He said in a flat tone, "You can't eat too much right now." After all, Lin Wangwan was no longer a child. Since I've made it clear, even if she wasn't full, it was fine. For now, they could only let things be as they were. I packed up the insulated lunchbox. He walked out of the ward with his things. He handed it to Shujiichi without hesitation. On the way back, I checked the clock close to 6 o'clock. I slowly walked back to the side of the bed. He helped Lin Wangwan cover up the quilt with her ankles. Then he spoke to her with a serious expression. "I'm going to school." Lin Wangwan raised her eyebrows slightly. "So, during the day, let the caregiver take care of you. Will you come over after school?" I nodded gently. He promised Wen Xiuzhen to take care of her after she was discharged. I will absolutely keep my word. They would never abandon it halfway. "Go ahead." Lin Wangwan immediately closed her eyes. I need to change clothes before going to school. Before the wedding, I was filled with joy. Moved everything into the new house. So even if I am reluctant now, I don't want to return to that place of sorrow. He could only grit his teeth and make a trip back. I took a taxi all the way to my doorstep. Upon entering, he saw Chu Hualan inside. I was very surprised and picked a plum branch. "Mom, have you been here all this time and never come back? I know you'll come here after leaving the hospital. I want to have a good talk with you. It seems time is still relatively ample now." I wasn't in a hurry to get to school. Without hesitation, he walked over and sat down. Chu Hualan asked with a displeased expression. You said you were serious about divorcing Wanwan. You're absolutely crazy. Chu Hualan slammed her teacup down heavily. A layer of anger hung over his face. Do you even know this? What a great blessing it is to be able to marry her. I replied with a bitter smile. If I hadn't fallen in love with Lin Wanwan, perhaps that is the true blessing. Chu Hualan was stunned when she heard this. Now I finally understand what you're saying. You always advise me not to fall in love with Lin Wanwan. In your eyes, as long as I don't fall for her sincerely. And just like that, he married her into the family. I can live happily and peacefully for a lifetime. I reached out and held Chu Hualan's hand. Your ultimate goal is for my own good. I want to be carefree for a lifetime. Mom, I think I'm right. Chu Hualan's expression stiffened slightly. You overthinking it, kid. As soon as he finished speaking, she looked completely uncomfortable. He forcefully pulled his hand out of mine. I didn't feel displeased at all. Instead, a hint of amusement flashed in his eyes. He pretended to be extremely serious as he spoke. Even if she doesn't give me money in the future. And even joined Ju Zimo to humiliate me. Even to force us to get a divorce. Trying every means to ruin my reputation. I'll just endure it all. How dare they do that? Chu Hualan stared wide-eyed in shock. He instantly flew into a rage. Although our Mu family is not as good as before, but at least it has a deep foundation. Besides, the two families were old friends. What gives her the right to treat you like this? I let out a cold laugh. But in her heart, she only loved Ju Zimo. Once a woman is for the man she loves. Sometimes you act recklessly. Whether you love or not is all empty. A woman's love is the most useless thing. Chu Hualan sighed extremely lightly. Hesitation flashed in his eyes as he asked, will what you said really happen? I nodded firmly. Lin Wanwan has always disliked me. Now she is forced to marry me according to her last wishes. I bet they've long since disliked me to the extreme. If that's the case. Chu Hualan lowered her head and thought for a moment. Then he continued. If you are determined to divorce her, naturally, your mother won't stop you. But you need to think it through carefully. And if you want to marry a woman with such good conditions, it was probably impossible. Even those with good conditions may not be happy. Besides, even if I remain single for life, I can also make myself happy. I said to her with a big smile. Just spouting nonsense here. You don't want to get married. Your dad and me. Forget it. Let's not talk about these things anymore. Chu Hualan is an extremely strong-willed person. I only understood this after being reborn. The hardships endured in youth. This made her whole body full of thorns. No matter what, he refused to back down. He was just afraid that if he gave in a little, suffering will come knocking again, then give her another heavy blow. It made her in unbearable pain. When Mu Liheng married her back then, I was only 1 year old. No matter how many nannies the family hires, nor can she replace the role of mother. It is natural for children to rely on their mothers. If you can't find it, you can't stop crying. But I heard from the elderly aunt at home. I almost never cried or fussed as a child. At that moment, I keenly realized something. After asking all the way, he finally found out. Chu Hualan was before I can remember. She stayed home with me almost every day. Most of the time, she was the one taking care of me. Anyone could see how much she loved me. But later, for some unknown reason, one day, she deliberately distanced herself from me. What exactly happened during this time? This made him make this decision with a heartfelt grudge. To this day, no one can clearly explain the reason. Later, when I was 4 years old, he gave birth to a daughter for Mu Liheng. That is, my sister, Mu Xiaobei. He was also not close to this flesh and blood. At first, I thought he was naturally cold. Later, I felt he only cared about fame and fortune. But now, thinking it over carefully, if he truly only cares about fame and fortune, back then, the Mu family's investment was a complete failure. How could he stay when he was on the verge of bankruptcy? He hadn't even complained a single word. Although I don't understand why he acts this way, but I know he has this home in his heart. With me and Xiao Bei, that's enough. Xiao Bei understands it better than you do. I couldn't help but chuckle softly. The laughter was clear and bright. She said that I, Chu Linwen, would never be happy. Chu Hualan looked surprised. When has she ever said that to you? Just 2 days before my wedding. What does a little brat know? Chu Hualan kept nibbling softly. So young. Always worrying about adults. She really lacks discipline at home. I just stood aside and smiled faintly. Judging by the time, it was indeed getting late. I got up from the sofa directly. He reached out and squeezed her stiff shoulder. I'll take you to a nice hospital at home another day. Take a good look at your sharp Jew eyes. I'll go upstairs and take a shower first. Soon, it'll be time to go to school. Are you going to school for classes? Chu Huelan's expression shifted slightly. Aren't you planning to drop out? I smiled and shook my head at her. If he hadn't planned to divorce her, I would never drop out of school. Chu Huelan's expression changed instantly. He vaguely guessed the reason. What exactly do you mean by that? Dropping out was when Xiozhen who forced me. He recalled the pressure when Xiozhen put on him back then. My expression followed the man's gaze. Chu Huelan was instantly furious when she heard this. His cheeks instantly flushed bright red with anger. He raised his hand and pointed it at my nose, cursing. You useless fool. Such a big deal. Why didn't you tell me? I thought so. It's because you yourself don't want to read it. If only you had told me about this earlier. I have to go to the Lin family and demand an explanation. He was Wen Xiozhen. Why is he so domineering? No sooner had he finished speaking, his foolish anger had not subsided. He picked up his coffee cup and smashed it at the TV. LCD screen simply can't withstand smashing. It instantly shattered into a spiderweb-like structure. The coffee cup shattered in two pieces. Chen Yi happened to come out of the kitchen. Frightened by the scene, they froze in place. Chu Huelan glanced at him out of the corner of her eye. He let out several cold laughs. The Lin family is simply not a good person. It's better if you and her get divorced sooner. With your weak and easily bullied nature. If this continues, sooner or later they'll suffer a big loss. Chen Yi had been the Lin family's housekeeper for many years. When Xiozhen specially sent her over, on the surface, the words were very beautiful. She said she was meticulous and cared for people. They can manage our daily lives well. But in reality, they were sent to monitor him. Chu Huelan was saying these angry words at this moment. Chen Yi turned around and would never miss a single word. Report everything to Wen Xiozhen. Chu Huelan understood everything clearly. She had clearly said it on purpose just now. This whole thing is all my fault. I clasped my hands tightly in front of me. He lowered his head, pretending to admit his mistake. It's exactly the same mistake I made as a child. He hadn't dared to tell her about this back then. He was just afraid she'd go and make a scene with the Lin family. That would only make the Lin family even more displeased. In my previous life, I never figured it out. Is there any family backing you from your own family? Life at her in-laws' home was completely different. Chu Huelan has a fiery personality and is not easy to mess with. Growing up in a complex remote area. Dealing with Wen Xiozhen, who was pampered and spoiled. A well-behaved young lady since childhood. It was a piece of cake. If only she had backed him up in his past life. I would never have such a hard time at the Lin family. I remember you used to have a pretty bad temper. He was never someone to mess with. Why have you become so weak now? Look at me looking so aggrieved. Chu Huelan's tone gradually softened. I told you earlier not to fall for her. I guarantee you'll enjoy a comfortable life. You were even angry with me over this at the time. As if I was deliberately trying to harm you. You think love is useless. Then don't you love my dad? I looked up at her quietly. Brother Chen, you're still too young. Chu Huelan let out a soft sigh. The two of them lived together. Can we keep going for a long time? You must never rely solely on love to sustain yourself. You could even say they don't rely on love to sustain themselves. When you actually marry someone, after some time, you'll naturally understand. Although I endured hardships before rebirth, she endured all kinds of emotional hardships. But because they didn't live together well, I was still naive about the true meaning of marriage. Now I finally understand your good intentions. My eyes blinked. It looks rather mischievous. From now on, I will definitely listen to you more. Faced with my sudden closeness, Chu Huelan looked extremely unaccustomed. She pursed her lips a little awkwardly. He replied coldly, speaking with genuine intention. You mustn't say that. I'm not your biological mother. You can listen to me or not. The smile in my eyes deepened. Although you are not my biological mother, yet she still cared so much about my affairs. Who has the leisure to care about you? Chu Huelan waved her hand impatiently. Hurry up and go do what you need to do. I couldn't help but laugh happily. Her eyes sparkled with a brilliant light. All right, I'll head upstairs first. Judging by the time, It was indeed getting late. I went upstairs and took a quick hot shower. After changing clothes, I took the application and headed out. There was originally only one driver at home. She followed Lin Wanwan through that car accident. Unfortunately, he suffered some minor injuries and was recuperating. I had no choice but to walk out of the villa area, go to the main road and hail a taxi. It's really not easy to get a taxi here. After waiting a long time, they finally caught one. After getting in the car, I directly stated my destination. He took out his phone and sent a message to Lu Xiubai. They agreed to meet at the university gate to argue about something. After just a few words, the gentleman left. After hearing this, I immediately had a guess in my mind. So I quickly asked the driver, "What does that man look like? What color clothes were worn at that time?" The driver briefly described it from memory. "I am certain this person is Zhu Zimo. Why did he come here in the middle of the night? I really couldn't figure it out. But it was certain he definitely had ulterior motives. This guy is full of bad luck. In my previous life, I knew this all too well." I turned to look out the car window at the scenery. A trace of mocking coldness flashed in his eyes. Although I can't touch Lin Wanwan right now, but making Zhu Zimo suffer a bit is still acceptable. The taxi stopped steadily at the H gate. After paying the fare, I stopped and got off the bus. He immediately spotted the person squatting by the roadside. It was my longtime friend Lu Xiubai. He was dressed in casual sportswear. Her hair was slightly messy from the wind. "It looks like you've just finished exercising." He looked up and suddenly saw me. He immediately stood up excitedly. He lunged at me like a madman. "Brother Chen, you finally made it." I immediately stopped in place, not daring to move. "Cross your arms and protect your chest as a precaution." But he still couldn't avoid his flying lunge. He held her tightly in his arms. "Brother Chen, we haven't seen each other for half a month. Do you know how much I miss you? I thought after you got married." He completely decided not to have brotherhood. His messy hair smeared all over my face. He showed a wronged expression. "This is a punishment you avoid and do not see." They wouldn't even let me attend the wedding. I was about to push her hand away, which was mid-air. Back then, in order to successfully marry Lin Wanwan, when Xiuzhen made a bunch of demands for me. Getting me expelled was just one of the reasons. It also demanded that I cut off all social interactions. In Wen Xiuzhen's snobbish eyes, all my friends are unworthy of being promoted. He was completely unworthy of Lin Wanwan's status as a husband. At that time, I was blinded by so-called love. He actually agreed to everything in a confused way. He even ruthlessly abandoned his old friends. Among them was his brother Lu Xiubai. To this day, I still remember the last time I saw him in a past life. A deep disappointment shone in his eyes. Later, I found myself isolated and helpless. Enduring so much suffering is purely self-inflicted. There was nothing worth attending at that wedding anyway. A wave of guilt surged in my heart. Even if he was almost suffocating from his suffocation, I didn't reach out to push him away again. Anyway, I'm going to divorce him soon. "Huh? What did you say?" Lu Xiubai suddenly let go of his arm. His face was filled with utter shock. I playfully winked at his left eye. "Your ears are hearing it well." Once her injuries healed and she was discharged smoothly, I immediately went to get divorced with her. "Didn't you dream of marrying her?" Lu Xiubai frowned in frustration. He grabbed his messy hair tightly. "Isn't marrying her your lifelong dream?" I shrugged, unsure if I could or not. That was the naivety and ignorance of the past. But ever since he married her, only then did I realize she was nothing special. Could it be that she can't download it? A trace of malice instantly grew in my heart. He deliberately pressed his dry lips together, pretending to look troubled. He looked reluctant to speak. "Then a divorce is indeed necessary." Lu Xiubai shook his head regretfully. "It's truly unimaginable even in my dreams. Lin Wanwan actually has a TV series like this. Sure enough, heaven is very fair." I nodded in agreement and nodded in agreement. That is indeed the case. Just with Lu Xiubai's big-mouthed nature, gossip about Lin Wanwan possibly failing, it would definitely spread throughout the city in less than a day. This was a small ambition for her. I put my arm around her shoulder, feeling extremely happy. "Come on, come with me to the counselor's office. Hurry up and get your withdrawal application back. The main task next is earnestly finish the remaining 3 years of university. Live a normal and peaceful ordinary life." Why did Cheng Ji even drop out of school in the first place? It was all because of that woman, Wen Xiuzhen. Otherwise, he absolutely won't agree to our marriage. My tone was full of mockery. She glanced up at my cold profile. Very perceptive, he cursed loudly. I knew it was this woman behind it. Otherwise, why would you drop out of school for no reason? A good man with such outstanding qualities. What was there she's still dissatisfied with? Am I really that good? I pointed to the boy holding the drawing board not far away. That was Yi Hui, the eldest young master of the Yi family. This is what Wen Xiuzhen calls good conditions. To put it bluntly, it's just a good family background. It was utterly superficial. I just let out a faint laugh. He didn't respond to her complaint again. Isn't real society just that cruel? No matter how outstanding your own abilities are, as long as the family background behind them isn't enough. In front of the Lin family, they were also inferior. If you calculate it so carefully. Even if Zhu Zimo had successfully married into the family in his previous life. Even with Lin Wanwan's endless affection. Just with her meager background. Life definitely won't get any better. Constantly being looked down upon and looked down upon by others. That feeling was also quite hard to endure. After thinking it over, I instantly felt much more relieved. He hurried all the way to the counselor's office. I was just about to raise my hand and knock on the door. The office door was pulled open from the inside. The man inside suddenly saw me head on. His previously calm expression suddenly changed. How did you suddenly show up here? Didn't you already drop out? I couldn't hold back and burst out laughing on the spot. The man standing before me was no stranger. It was Zhu Zimo's younger brother, Zhu Qiang. Mention this guy named Zhu Qiang. He really is Zhu Zimo's perfect little brother. Always coveting the woman of her own brother. Secretly, he even goes out of his way to trip up his own brother. Her demeanor was truly earth-shattering. Dropping out doesn't mean you can't return to school. Lu Xiubai grinned at Zhu Qiang. If Mu Chen comes back, you won't be able to stand out anymore. Do you feel especially upset inside? Zhu Qiang stared at him with a sinister look. I didn't talk to you, your big mouth. Don't rush to bother with me. Aren't you afraid of losing your value? I have no idea if my value will drop. Anyway, you're not as good as my brother Chen in every way. Losing value is the frustration behind the scenes. When did I mess up behind my back? Lu Xiubai let out a disdainful, cold laugh. You know exactly what you've done. Last month, during anatomy class, my brother Chen had rabbits. If someone tries to harm you, it must be your doing. A trace of panic flashed in Zhu Qiang's eyes. Stop slandering me here. I have no interest in doing such dirty things. You need evidence when you speak and act. It's all you doing. I didn't. I quickly interrupted their endless argument. He smiled warmly at the person in front of him and spoke. I don't want to hear your pointless arguments. Zhu Qiang, you're blocking my way. Could you please step aside for a moment? Zhu Qiang stared at me with wide eyes. He showed no intention of yielding. I know Zhu Qiang all too well. Since I stepped through the gates of this university. Just because I am Lin Wanwan's fiancé. He was like a mad dog, stubbornly opposing me. If you don't come to me for a day and cause some trouble. His dark heart was uneasy. Take this tense moment as you stand. He must be trying to stab me with vicious words. Still the kind of person who won't stop until it stings. Just as I expected. It didn't take more than a few seconds. Zhu Qiang immediately made a move. Mu Chen, you dropped out of school and stayed home to focus on pleasing Sister Lin. Maybe he could win her heart. But now you actually gave up dropping out. And my brother has already returned to China. You're probably about to get divorced soon. She knows best how to poke at my heart. If these words had been in their previous life, hearing this would surely feel like my heart was being cut by a knife. But now, I am completely indifferent. Therefore, she not only didn't see the pained and ugly expression on my face. Instead, I showed my perfectly white teeth. He gave her a chilling, cold smile. Saying that makes you feel a bit better, doesn't it? What do you mean? My unexpected reaction made his mind freeze. You've always had a crush on Lin Wanwan. When you say I try to please her every day, isn't your heart bleeding? Suddenly, I reached out and gripped her chin tightly. He shook her cheeks forcefully from side to side. He clicked his tongue and continued with a contemptuous tone. Your looks aren't much worse than your brother's. Are you not satisfied at all? Your brother has the power to force her to divorce me. Why do you think you're not good enough? Zhu Qiang's expression changed dramatically in an instant. He suddenly slapped my hand away and shouted fiercely. Mu Chen. Stop talking nonsense here. I never had a crush on Sister Lin. Look at your hypocritical appearance. He likes a woman and doesn't even dare to admit it. It seems you'll only be on the sidelines for the rest of your life. Watch helplessly as your brother and the woman you love, they are loving in front of you. What I said was far more than just malicious in nature. He didn't even see Zhu Qiang as a normal person. She stabbed him hard in the weakest spot with the dullest knife. I just want him to suffer every day. Let his little foolish fantasies take root earlier than in his previous life. Before finalizing the divorce from Lin Wanwan, I must personally bring more trouble upon Zhu Zimo. Shut up. Zhu Qiang's eyes had already turned red. His chest heaved, even his breathing grew extremely heavy. That's just nonsense. I shrugged indifferently. Your face is covered with an expression you know very well. Zhu Qiang's mindset was already on the verge of collapse. He glared at me with intense hatred. He turned around and quickly escaped from here. Brother Chen. Could it be that Zhu Qiang likes Lin Wanwan too? Lu Xiubai gripped my arm tightly. The words curiosity were clearly written all over his face. I know he's very gossipy at heart. But right now, it was clearly not appropriate to reveal too much to him. He made a calming gesture to calm down. Then he turned and walked into the counselor's office. Back then, I insisted on dropping out. The counselor once earnestly offered advice. He firmly refused. In the end, seeing that I was truly determined to leave, only then did he reluctantly and regretfully agree. Now seeing that I suddenly changed my mind and wanted to stay, naturally, he felt very happy inside. After all, losing such an outstanding medical student. But it was an extremely heartbreaking and regrettable matter. After the director gave me a few stern instructions. Let Lu Xiubai and me go back first. The two of them had just walked a bit farther from the office. He looked up at me, his eyes sparkling with stars. Cheng Ji, hurry up and say it. I was so curious I couldn't contain myself. Hurry up and tell me the whole truth. Haven't you already seen through it? Zhu Qiang had indeed secretly liked Lin Wanwan all along. I curled my lips into a slight smile. The smile on his face was full of mockery. He had loved Lin Wanwan since he was little. But from beginning to end, his eyes only had Zhu Zimo. Until I just said those things. He always thought that as long as his brother was worthy of him, all he needed to do was quietly watch over him from the side. How do you know about this? It has to be that clear. Lu Xiubai was completely shocked by this explosive news. I just laughed loudly without saying a word. He wisely didn't press further. After struggling to digest this earth-shattering piece of gossip, a question, not very clear-headed, raised a question. Why did you say those things before you just said? This was what Zhu Qiang was thinking. So what happened after those words? He would surely feel unwilling to accept it. He would start thinking about competing with Jing Ji. I was stirring up the deepest desires in his heart. I took the locker key out of my clothes pocket. His fingers passed through the keychain, his face spinning in circles full of leaping eyes. Now Lu Xiubai fully understood. A mischievous smile immediately appeared on his face. Brother Chen, you're still so bad. I raised my eyebrows slightly and looked at him. Just now, I saw Mu Chen in high school again. He bumped my shoulder hard. I let out a silly laugh. Back then, you were wild and arrogant, full of vigor, with a look of defiance against anyone. Unfortunately, once you get to college, you start pretending to be a good guy. Honestly, it's not interesting at all. The smile on my face gradually faded. Mu Leheng's biological mother, that is, my biological grandmother, is from the north. When she was young, she often returned to the north with her mother. Each session lasted several months, so her personality is very bold and uninhibited. Plus, he's really not very smart. All these years, I've lived happily and carefree. Otherwise, you can't let investment failures happen. Let the Mu family's years of hard work instantly replicate this line. In terms of personality, I somewhat followed her lead. Plus, their expectations for me are extremely low. This led me to completely let myself go after entering high school. Strictly speaking, at that time, I was just a student with good grades. But in the eyes of the teacher, he was a delinquent student. As for why she forced herself to change after entering university, he became a well-behaved guy. Of course, it was also because of Lin Wanwan and Wen Xiuzhen. I quickly pulled myself out of the memories of my previous life. He murmured in a very calm tone. If there were no her in my world, how wonderful I should have been in my past life. Brother Chen, what were you whispering just now? Lu Xiubai didn't catch what I was saying. He asked curiously. I gently shook my head, indicating it was nothing. From now on, I will live as my true self. I gripped her warm palm tightly. The two of them walked briskly into the classroom. I've been smart since I was little. He learns everything much faster than others. Back then, I achieved an extremely high score in the college entrance exam. When choosing a major, my parents always wanted to let me be happy. I am among many popular options available. Without hesitation, he chose to learn the art. The road to learning the craft was extremely arduous and long. Mu Liheng had made it clear that he did not agree. I just firmly say I like it. He resolutely insisted on making the choice. The real reason has not been revealed. The real reason was the death of my biological mother. It's not just about helping more people, not allowing more ordinary families to be broken. Instead, it was to accumulate virtue and pray for his deceased mother. Her life was truly too short. I hope her next life will be safe and smooth, living a peaceful and stable life. The entire morning of professional courses came to an end. There happened to be no classes scheduled in the afternoon. Lu Shubai hasn't gotten together with me in a long time, so he excitedly asked me to go shopping together. I still have to go to the hospital to take care of Lin Wanwan. After telling her the situation, the two of them agreed to go shopping together another day, so I left school and went to the hospital. Arriving at the hospital building, I had just gone upstairs, preparing to head to the ward. He ran into Wen Xiaoshan, who had just come out from inside. Wen Xiaoshan was clearly stunned when she saw me. Then, with a very complicated expression, he spoke. "You're pretty capable, kid." I was completely baffled by this sentence. "What? Before you married Wanwan, she actually quite dislikes you." Unexpectedly, this short night passed. "She doesn't really dislike you anymore. Isn't it wrong for me to say you're capable?" Her words were full of deeper meaning. I furrowed my brows tightly and said nothing. I used to always act very well behaved in front of her, no matter how hard she tries to make things difficult for me. What harsh things to say. I nodded and bowed in agreement. Absolutely no rebuttal. Although my attitude has become much stronger since my rebirth, but she clearly hadn't fully adapted yet. Seeing me standing silently in place, I thought I was too afraid to talk back. Instead, he became even more ridiculous and took advantage of the situation. Sure enough, that woman raised a son. At heart, they're the same kind of person at heart. Since she was pushing her luck and never reigned herself, I don't plan to keep spoiling her anymore. Wen Xiaoshan, you're sick. So I hurried to see a doctor. I don't even want to call her mom on the surface anymore. His face instantly turned as cold as ice. At least you're part of the Lin family. But he spoke like a street ruffian. Aren't they afraid of lowering the Lin family's status? This statement is truly extremely harsh to listen to. He clearly didn't expect me to give him no face at all, saying such harsh things to his face. For a moment, he stood there in shock. When he finally came to his senses, his face flushed with anger and turned a pearly pink. "Mu Chen, how dare you talk to me like that? Even if you and Maramaru are about to divorce, you shouldn't have addressed me by my full name either. After all, I'm your elder. I think you're the one with no upbringing. Let your ancestors be disgraced along with it." He relied on his strong family background. Back then, she was lucky enough to marry into a neighbor's family. Although her personality has always been spoiled and domineering, he looked just like a hedgehog, referring to a scumbag. Anyone he finds that he dislikes is ruthlessly punished. But in normal times, very few people dared to confront him head-on. So when he argued, he could curse out harsh things. At most, this is the ridiculous level of the situation. I heard him even bring up his own ancestors. He couldn't hold back and burst out laughing on the spot. "Okay, call your name directly. It really was my fault. Then how about I change how I address you from now on? Aunt Wen, how big is your heart? Your own daughter is still lying there in pain. I still don't know if my head will have a second certificate. Why don't you take good care of her health? Yet you waste time here using words to shadow me. If you really have the time to do this, might as well hurry up and play a couple of rounds of mahjong. Mu Chen, you're really outrageous." I rolled my eyes without any composure. He really couldn't be bothered to bother with her any longer. He turned sideways and pushed open the ward door. He shouted loudly toward those inside. "Lin Wanwan, your mom is really unreasonable. I don't want to argue with your mom over this. Let the caregiver look after you instead." Even if Wen Xiaoshan were killed on the spot, he definitely wouldn't have expected me to dare to come out of here. He was practically driven crazy by me. He raised his hand and gave my shoulder a hard push. You actually dare to complain to my daughter? Do you really think you are something? 1-1. Take a look. What is this supposed to be? He doesn't take me, an elder, seriously, at all. How dare you insult me? He was a street ruffian. They say I've lowered the Lin family's status. This kind of anger. I really can't wait a single day. I'll call the people at the Civil Affairs Bureau right now. You must divorce immediately today. That's really wonderful. I clapped my hands and clapped enthusiastically. I really thank you so much. Having a powerful and influential mother-in-law is just good. You don't even need to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau in person for a divorce. That was really convenient. Please hurry up. A hopelessly lovesick brain. A temperamental menopause. I couldn't stand this mother and daughter for even a single day. Lin Wangwan's forehead twitched lightly on the hospital bed. He exuded a terrifying aura of hostility. There are countless men in this world who want to marry her. If any man could marry her, he might wake up laughing straight from his dreams. But this is something treasured by countless people. I was so blatantly disgusted by me. This dealt a heavy blow to her proud pride. How could she swallow this anger in her heart? It's best if you obediently agree to the divorce. When Xiuzhen reached out and pointed her hand at my nose, his eyes burned with fury. He threatened with a forced smile. Let me call the people from the Civil Affairs Bureau over. If you dare to go back on your word. Relentlessly clinging. I'm not just making you lose your money and get away with it. I'll make sure your Mu family doesn't get any better. I also gave a fake smile. Anyone who goes back on their word is a puppy. It's a matter of course. As soon as he finished speaking, she hurriedly opened her personal bag. He was about to take out his phone and call someone. Mom, I talked about my marriage. Only Grandpa can make the decisions. Lin Wangwan stared intently at the door of the hospital room. His gaze became extremely sinister and terrifying. Should I get a divorce from her now? I have to decide everything myself. Don't do unnecessary things in the middle. Wangwan, if you don't take advantage of now, hurry up and divorce her. How long do you plan to keep waiting? When Xiuzhen expressed extreme confusion, his eyes were almost red with anger. A trace of irritation flashed across Lin Wangwan's face. I told you, don't get involved in this. I insist on getting involved in this mess. I don't want a son-in-law who can't even show up in public. Besides, haven't you always liked Zhu Zimo? Now he has already returned to China. You shouldn't be eager to get divorced quickly. Marry him in good and grand style? Alright. Today, I'm going to get divorced from him. Tomorrow, I'll turn around and get my marriage certificate with Zhu Zimo. Lin Wangwan said coldly, expressionless. Absolutely not. When Xiuzhen almost blurted out instinctively. Her precious daughter deserved to marry into a family of equal status. The family is a man with a strong background and outstanding personal qualities. What kind of people are Mu Chen and Zhu Zimo? Not to mention that he couldn't help his daughter's career at all. She might even become a serious burden to her in the future. Lin Wangwan let out an extremely cold laugh. It turned out her mother had always thought this way. No wonder she was so ruthless in doing that thing back then. Anyway, you wouldn't agree to me marrying her. Then why am I in such a hurry to get divorced now? Lin Wangwan turned her head wearily. His eyes were lifeless, staring at the ceiling. Tell Mu Chen to come in and see me. Wangwan, listen to Mom's advice. Stop wasting your breath. Lin Wangwan interrupted her coldly. His tone was cold and emotionless. When Xiuzhen glared at me with a face full of unwillingness. Then, full of anger, he turned and left. I stared intently at her angry back. His expression seemed thoughtful. In my previous life, my eyes and heart were only Lin Wangwan. He had never noticed such an obvious blind spot before. A woman with a strong personality like Wen Xiuzhen. But he never managed to respond to his own daughter. She listened almost to whatever her daughter said. Is it simply because he loves his daughter so much? But after all, she was Lin Wangwan's biological mother. If she truly decided to make a scene, Lin Wangwan would most likely have to compromise helplessly in the end. This matter is really strange no matter how you look at it. She heard my doubts clearly. My heart and eyes were filled with speculation about her thoughts. This made Lin Wangwan's feelings especially complicated. She cleared her throat lightly. The intention was to draw my divergent attention. I snapped out of my thoughts in an instant. Puzzled, he turned his head to quietly look at her. Come in quickly. I immediately walked in. He only stopped walking when he reached the bedside. He pulled over a nearby chair and sat down. Why not take this opportunity to just divorce me? Not only did Wen Xiuzhen not understand, I myself was equally baffled. It's nothing. Why? You and Zhu Zimo are already mutually in love. Since you want to marry her in glory. Your mother strongly opposed it, but it was useless. So I really didn't understand. If I hadn't been persistent in my past life, she was probably on her first day back in the country. You couldn't wait to drag me away. How could they still be entangled in grudges for 3 years? We divorced right after getting married. It can have a negative impact on temporary fertility. Therefore, divorce must not be allowed in a short time. Before his rebirth, this woman dreamed of leaving but couldn't. After being reborn, the person I dreamed of leaving became me. Life is truly full of ironic drama. I absolutely cannot drag this out any longer. You must leave after you are discharged. Sure enough, he had experienced rebirth. Such a fantastical thing really exists in this world. You might have forgotten when we held our wedding. Only our families were present at the scene. Even the media didn't know we were married. Because you deliberately hid the marriage matter. To this day, the public still thinks you're single. So our divorce will never affect the temporary. There are no walls in this world that can't be kept open. Then I need a clear timeline. How much longer until they can leave? At least half a year later. Half a year is absolutely not allowed. I simply couldn't wait that long. How long do you want it? Once you're discharged. He immediately rode off and left. 1 year. Why are you starting to raise prices on the spot? I'll just be honest with you. I already have someone I truly like. So I was eager to get a divorce so I could be with him. I don't believe your nonsense. I have absolutely no reason to lie to you. If you can accept it. I was reckless during the marriage. Willingly cuckolding yourself. Then I'll reluctantly listen to you. Wait until 6 months before proceeding with the divorce. I can accept it. What can you accept? Even the carefree ingrate has come to believe in Buddhism. Starting vegetarian meals to save all beings, right? Alright. You said it yourself. Since you can accept all this, I have nothing more to say. You say wait half a year, then wait half a year. But I have to make a rule with you first. During this time, I will move back home. We each live our own lives. If nothing happens, then don't meet again. That's absolutely fine. It was time for lunch. 10 minutes later. I walked in carrying an insulated lunchbox. He sat down expressionlessly and opened the lunchbox. I brought the spoonful of hot porridge to her mouth. I don't know if my hands were shaking on purpose. A lot of porridge from the spoon spilled onto her neck. Mu Chen. Those 2 words seemed to squeeze out from her heart. Suppressing an overwhelming anger, I hurriedly got up, my face full of panic. He pulled out a few tissues from the drawer on the cabinet. Flustered, he wiped her neck. He wiped while apologizing repeatedly. I'm really sorry. I really didn't mean to. Please don't be angry. You were just messing with me on purpose. You can't move right now. Isn't it fine to do whatever I want? Lin Wanwan clearly heard my inner thoughts. Feeling the tissue covered in slimy liquid, was gradually coming to her delicate face. His face turned completely dark, like the bottom of a burnt pot. There was no porridge on my face at all. No, really? I'm really sorry. I thought there was one. Mu Chen, are you saying you don't have enough time to live? I know Miss Lin has power and influence. Whoever you offend will never end well. But you can't just spill porridge because I carelessly spilled it. Just ruthlessly kill me. Lin Wanwan let out a cold laugh. I really can. Then wait until you can move. For now, just endure it obediently. I replied with a blunt sneer. Lin Wanwan glared at me fiercely. A flush of heartfelt flush appeared in his eyes. Wipe me clean from the start. Then change into a clean set of clothes. I can't do this kind of work. I'm just a hot-blooded young man. Isn't it really appropriate to do something like this? I'll find someone to help you get the change. This time, Lin Wanwan was truly furious. His usually icy face showed rare anger. Absolutely not. I have to save you. If you don't clean up for me today. Accompanied by a loud bang at the door. Before Lin Wanwan could finish her harsh words, I quickly walked out of the ward. Lin Wanwan squeezed her eyes shut in pain. It felt as if all the blood vessels in my body were contracting from anger. As if it could burst at any moment. I used to be in front of her and Wen Xiuzhen. She always acted gentle and well-behaved. Definitely not an easy feat. No one knows how long he was tormented in pain. Just as she was reaching her limit, the hospital room door was finally pushed open. Hurry up, Lin Wanwan urged anxiously. Miss, please bear with it a little. I'll go to the bathroom to get a wet towel first. A hoarse voice came from the doorway. It left her stunned. She stiffly turned her neck to look. A woman who looked to be in her 50s. He was staggering toward the restroom. I don't even know where I found them. The woman looked disheveled and dirty, dressed in old-fashioned, worn-out work clothes. There were still many suspicious stains on it. Let such a woman wash her body. It would be better to just give her a quick and easy finish. Get out immediately. This young lady. Mr. Mu told me about your experience. I feel deep sympathy for this. You can rest assured. I will never laugh at you. Do you know who I am? Does it matter who you are? My name is Lin Wanwan. Never heard of it. Mu Chen. This damn guy. Lin Wanwan took a deep breath. Despairing, I closed my eyes. Seeing this, the woman immediately strode over. The process of washing her body was especially torturous for her. I pretended to yawn. The person I found isn't bad, right? Quite good. Before I was discharged, I had trouble taking care of you so thoughtfully. To my surprise, this time, she didn't fly into a rage. Instead, he behaved extremely calmly. Only when the word considerate was mentioned, it was as if it had been forced out through her teeth. Otherwise, I really thought she wouldn't be able to get up at all. I narrowed my eyes dangerously. A trace of caution appeared on his face. This woman is truly scheming. Who knows what he's thinking in his heart? Once she was able to move, they are getting back at me fiercely. But since they've already offended him completely, either way, there's no escape from retaliation. Then take advantage of his illness to take his life. Lin Wanwan suddenly felt her current situation. He was hardly any better than Wu Dalang. She tried to gently move her arm. The piercing pain made her gasp sharply. Don't expect to touch her yourself. Clearly recognized this tragic point. She licked her slightly dry lips. He suddenly asked, Mu Chen, do you still love me now? I smiled lightly in Wenyang. What do you mean, I still love you? I never loved you, okay? He answered decisively, without the slightest hesitation, and whether in his expression or tone, there was not the slightest sign of saying one thing or meaning another. Even if you don't listen to my inner thoughts, she also clearly understands how I feel about her. There was not even the slightest bit of affection left. This realization made Lin Wanwan's eyes darken slightly. Actually, I can't say I feel that bad. He just felt a bit regretful, just as she was completely unaware. A sincere emotion quietly faded away. The two of them were silent for a long time. Lin Wanwan spoke in a hoarse voice. If I marry Zhu Zimo, will we be happy in the future? I think so. I don't think so. I'm not sure about that. Do you need anything else? Lin Wanwan shook her head. Then get a good night's sleep. I'm planning to take a nap too. The shoes lay down on it. Closing my eyes, I felt like she was staring at me. Lin Wanwan's gaze irritated me. Why did she keep staring at me? Is there something wrong with this person? This thought had just crossed my mind. Lin Wanwan turned her face away. My tightly furrowed brows slowly relaxed. Not long after, he fell into a deep sleep. Lin Wanwan listened as my breathing became even. Knowing I was already asleep, he then turned his gaze over again. At this moment, in Lin Wanwan's eyes, it looked very pleasing to the eye. She never had me in her eyes before. Only now do I realize I look pretty good. Her sharply defined face and outstanding temperament. His features are sharp and handsome. Very eye-catching. Just judging by this looks, I am definitely not as chestic as Zhu Zimoka. Maybe her gaze was just too intense. I felt a bit uncomfortable in my sleep. He frowned and groaned twice. Then he flipped over. Lin Wanwan let out a faint laugh. Then he closed his eyes as well. I slept until 4 p.m. Waking up, I saw the hospital room door. Driving it was a bit confusing. He turned over and saw Lin Wanwan lying beside him. It seemed he was still asleep. I slowly sat up from the bed. He put on his shoes and walked out of the hospital room. Seeing Xu Jiaqi standing nearby, a smile immediately appeared on my face. When did you get here? He had just arrived. Xu Jiaqi has a rather reserved personality. He usually doesn't smile much. But when facing me, he had a good smile. She could only stiffly tug at the corner of her mouth. The nurse said the door would open at a certain time. Ventilate. So I opened the door. So that's what happened. I knew I couldn't get too familiar with her. After saying that, he planned to turn and head back to the hospital room. Sir, I ran into young Master Ju on my way here. He had just been downstairs on the phone. Not sure if he'll get up soon. Shu Jiuqi actually didn't need to say that. It really shouldn't have been said in the first place. But maybe he felt my kindness. She hesitated for a moment but still spoke. I was slightly stunned after hearing this. Then he playfully smiled in his ear. It's fine. If she wants to come up, then she can come up. Her legs are on her own. No one can control where she goes. But Lin would mind. Shu Jiuqi didn't dare to speak too clearly. He could only remind him tactfully. You'll feel bad when the time comes. I smiled and shook my head. No, it won't. I've long been used to it. Shu Jiuqi didn't know how to respond. So she chose to remain silent. I was just about to say something more. A woman's cold voice came from the hospital room. There was even a faint trace of anger in his voice. Mu Chen, I'm thirsty. I instinctively rolled my eyes. Then he nodded and smiled at Shu Jiuqi. He turned and walked into the ward. The woman on the hospital bed looked at him with a hostile gaze. I thought she was just waking up grumpy. No one finds it easy to look at. So he didn't think much of it. He poured her a cup of warm water and brought it over. Are you close with Shu Jiuqi? Lin Wangwan's eyes flickered slightly. She had already asked similar questions. A trace of irritation flashed across my face. He put down his cup and answered coldly. Not ripe. But you two don't look like you're close. Lin Wangwan let out a cold laugh. Is she just looking for trouble? Why did you suddenly care about me and Shu Jiuqi? Caring whether we know each other. Isn't it really that familiar? Is she really this free now? Alright. This woman really has a lot of free time right now. But this is really quite annoying. He heard the complaints in my heart. Lin Wangwan's already bad complexion grew even worse. I didn't have a single good word about her. Hearing it too many times inevitably makes people feel uncomfortable. You feel like we look familiar. It was because I intended to show goodwill toward her. A fake smile hung on my face. Why? Why else can a man show affection to a woman? Of course, it's because I have taken a liking to her. The curve of my mouth deepened, with a strong sense of malice. Aren't you willing to accept me cheating on you? It's hard to find a woman like you who truly holds the heart in your heart. I'll take the chance to put on a few more for you. Since we're going to play something exciting, that would definitely aim for the ultimate thrill. I'm going to drive you crazy. As my words gradually faded, Lin Wangwan's face turned completely cold and icy. Even though she knew I was deliberately trying to annoy her, these words weren't serious. But she was still quite angry. Her gaze at me was deep and cold. I looked out and saw no bottom. He couldn't help but feel a slight startle in his heart. A chill instantly crept up his heart. Lin Wangwan, as the helmsman of the group, he naturally carries the powerful aura of someone in power. Even when she was angry, she showed no expression. Not even a single word was spoken. It was enough to make people feel fear. I witnessed her methods before I was reborn. He was actually afraid of her too. If not for the anger filling his heart. And she was still physically unable to move. I wouldn't dare offend her like this. You're much braver than before. Lin Wangwan curled her lips slightly. His smile was a bit mischievous. Keep it up. I pressed my lips tightly together. Should I stop provoking her? Otherwise, once she recovers and is discharged. Full of sarcasm, retaliate against him. This man really dares to dream. You must be thirsty now. Have some water. I quickly picked up the water cup beside me, trying to calm Lin Wangwan's anger, so she wouldn't rack her brains to mess with me. Lin Wangwan smiled faintly. A slap. And a sweet date. How could that be possible? You're overthinking it. I don't admit it. Lin Wangwan let out a cold laugh. Just as he was about to scare him, outside the door came the sound of leather shoes. I guessed it must be Ju Zimo coming up. He immediately brought the cup to Lin Wangwan's mouth. Dear, let me give you some water. My sudden abnormality left her stunned for a moment. Then they saw Ju Zimo walk into the hospital room. He instantly understood why. Of course, she wouldn't cooperate with my performance. Unless she suddenly became a Buddhist. Stay away from me. Lin Wangwan said coldly. This was entirely expected. I put away the fake smile on my face. He straightened up and shrugged indifferently. He deliberately sighed loudly and said, You still hate me like this? Let me feed you. Zhu Zimo hurried over. He took the water cup from my hand. He looked at Lin Wanwan with a gentle expression. Her words just now made her feel at ease. Looks like I was just bluffing yesterday. Lin Wanwan's eyes had always been focused solely on her. She never dared to look at other men. How could she change her mind so easily? Especially a young guy like me. It was completely not her type. Her worries were truly unnecessary. But even so, she also had to make Wanwan divorce as soon as possible. She had waited far too long for this day. I really can't wait any longer. It's time to marry Lin Wanwan into the family. As long as she showed a little goodwill to Lin Wanwan, everything she wanted would soon be available. Zhu Zimo was calculating something in his mind. Lin Wanwan heard everything clearly. She looked at the man she had loved for many years. His eyes were filled with bone-deep disappointment and disgust. It turned out that the Zhu Zimo she used to see in her eyes, it was just Zhu Zimo who wanted her to see. The falsehood is frightening. Lin Wanwan hated being deceived the most. Moreover, this is no longer just deception. This man dreamed of marrying her. But he always pretended not to have feelings for her, playing the trick of playing hard to get. He was basically treating her like a fool. Zhu Zimo saw that Lin Wanwan was not drinking water. He didn't say a word. He kept staring at her with icy eyes. He couldn't help but start to panic. Sister Wang Wan, what's wrong? Lin Wanwan lowered her gaze. Her long eyelashes trembled slightly. I don't want to drink anymore. Then what would you like to drink? I'll go buy it for you, okay? Zhu Zimo blinked his innocent big eyes. He asked gently in the tone of a red child. Big brother, can you have some common sense? He now has nothing but water. Can you still drink something else? I sprawled on the sofa beside me. He lazily yawned loudly. It seems, you're still not handsome enough. After 5 years abroad, he finally returned. If you drink poison for him, maybe. He was content with it as if it was sweet food. My intention to sow discord was too obvious. It was as if he was missing blood on his face. A surge of anger surged in Zhu Zimo's heart. But in front of Lin Wanwan, he could only force himself to endure. Mu Chen, I know you really don't like me. Actually, I can understand that. But now you're married to Sister Wanwan. I hope you can live happily. You really don't have to hate me like this. Which eye of yours saw that I hated you? I found what he said utterly ridiculous. You think you deserve to be hated by me? Zhu Zimo's expression immediately changed. No one had ever dared to say that in front of Wanwan. Why did Mu Chen dare to be so arrogant? Zhu Zimo found it so hard to accept. All of it was because Lin Wanwan had spoiled her before. This gave him a strong sense of superiority. To put it bluntly, he was a man of dogfights. He really thought he was so remarkable. I didn't care at all how she would react. What I care about is Lin Wanwan's reaction. If Lin Wanwan were to lose her temper over this, if you say something tough, I'll be in serious trouble. Then I'll immediately back down and back down. But I would never confront her head on. But if she just casually scolded him a little, then I'll keep pushing my luck. She insisted on making Zhu Zimo so uncomfortable he couldn't sleep. Lin Wanwan's eyes flickered as she stared at me. I understood the little scheme I was plotting. He let out a faint, foolish laugh. Mr. Mu spoke with such a big tone. I don't know who gave you that confidence. I have no confidence. Can't you just talk? The mouth grows on my own face. Say whatever I want. Does this have anything to do with having confidence? My attitude was nothing short of arrogant. Viewers are sharp-cut and their teeth are tickling. Indeed, you want to say what your freedom is? Zhu Zimo's eyes grew slightly red. After glancing at me, he lowered his head. I snorted coldly. He shouted mocking with a face full of disdain. Thank you, Mr. Zhu, for being so sensible. If you say even harsher things when you meet in the future, I also hope you can let go of the issue. Lin Wanwan saw through Zhu Zimo's character clearly. Naturally, he wouldn't speak up for her anymore. She half closed her narrow eyes. He planned to leave all of this unattended, listening intently to the thoughts of the two men. He didn't scold me for a long time. Zhu Zimo lifted his gaze to look at him. Lin Wanwan remained unmoved, still faint. Zhu Zimo bit his lip hard. He reached out and grabbed Lin Wanwan's arm. He spoke softly, his face pale. Forget it. Wanwan Jie. Meng Chen was still young and didn't know much. He doesn't like me saying harsh things. He didn't say anything, okay? A strong sense of disgust spread. Lin Wanwan's deep black eyes were filled with frost. like millennia-old sharp ice that cannot be melted. In Zhu Zimo's past memories, Lin Wangwan's gaze toward him was always gentle. He had never looked at him with such a cold gaze. He stared wide-eyed in disbelief. His face instantly turned frighteningly pale. Grievance and sadness appeared in his eyes. Wanwanjie, why are you looking at me like that? I was in a rather bad mood. Lin Wangwan shifted her gaze away from his face. Both of you, keep quiet for me. Wanwanjie. Zhu Zimo bit his lower lip with his teeth. Are you still mad at me? He was angry that I had been away abroad for 5 years. He hasn't even come back to see you in the middle. You overthinking it. Now that you're gone, Wanwan can't even imagine how happy she is. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed to marry me. On their wedding night, they were so enthusiastic. I couldn't help but interrupt. I could barely get it out. She insisted on interjecting in just as Zhu Zimo was about to have a heart-to-heart talk. Or is it something that could throw her into chaos? You want to have a heart-to-heart talk with her? If I can make you negotiate today. I just wrote the name backwards. Lin Wangwan found it a bit amusing. She leapt like that. Zhu Zimo's heart sank halfway. Comforting herself is just self-deception. Lin Wangwan might really have fallen out of love. Otherwise, she would never have allowed me to act arrogant in front of her. Thinking about the possibility of losing the neighbor's home, Zhu Zimo was extremely anxious. He clenched his fists tightly in frustration. He looked at Lin Wangwang with a face full of heartbreak. Sister Wangwang, is everything he says true? I don't believe it. He must be lying, right? Seeing how uncomfortable he looked, I couldn't be more satisfied inside. On the coffee table was a plate of fresh fruit. Inside are freshly picked grapes. I reached out and grabbed a big handful. Eat them one by one. He looked very pleased with himself. Although he didn't know why this woman was so cold toward him. But for me, it was simply amazing. When the woman recovers and is discharged, I'm making Zhu Zimo worry so much he'll lose 20 jin of meat. In my heart, I kept calling out, woman, over and over. Lin Wangwan's forehead flushed lightly as she listened. She didn't want me to be so proud. He lifted his gaze to look at Zhu Zimo. He gave her his first smile since meeting. Of course not. I knew it. Zhu Zimo was instantly overjoyed and burst into tears. Wanwanjie, I really regret it. I shouldn't have gone abroad in the first place. Otherwise, my expression showed some displeasure. It felt like the grapes in my mouth were no longer sweet. He threw the uneaten grapes back to the fruit plate and stood up. I'm going to the restroom. It really was the man Lin Wangwan had loved for years. It's not like saying you don't love just because you don't want to. I really can't believe someone as dumbfounded as her. A man with more cunning thoughts than dragon fruit seeds. How did she fall in love in the first place? And she has remained devoted for so many years. Just with her gaze toward men. There were no problems at the last minute. It was simply a miracle. Mu Chen. Lin Wangwan's voice was filled with anger. It came from behind. I stopped walking out. He turned around, completely baffled. Zhu Zimo also looked at her with a puzzled expression. Lin Wangwan took several deep breaths. He wanted to suppress the fire in his heart. But in the end, it still failed. Go to the restroom outside. Lin Wangwan shouted loudly. She couldn't let anyone know she could hear her heart. So at this moment, he lost his temper. It only makes people think she's crazy. I was speechless. Is he getting angry at me because of Zhu Zimo? This reflection is way too long. It seems his mind must have gone wrong from the collision. For the first time, Lin Wangwan felt this poisonous power. It's absolutely terrible, driving people crazy. Unless she is an emotionless wooden figure. Otherwise, sooner or later, you'll get seriously ill from the anger. I muttered to myself as I walked out of the hospital room. Until I had gone far enough, Lin Wangwan could no longer hear my inner voice. Her tightly furrowed brows finally relaxed. Wangwanjie. During the 5 years since I left you, I really miss you. Without me, a man who loves the world, I am here. Zhu Zimo was about to confide in her again. Lin Wangwan was in a bad mood. He just responded coldly. Arriving in a foreign land. Living alone. Only then did I realize how much you protected me before. Only then did I realize that only you can give me happiness. Zhu Zimo pressed his lips together. He seemed a bit hesitant to speak. Wangwanjie. Do you and Mu Chen have feelings for each other? What kind of relationship are you referring to? Lin Wangwan glanced at him sideways. Of course, it's love. The two got married. There must be love, right? Only with love can happiness be attained. At least half of what she said was wrong. She said it on purpose. The goal was to awaken the Wanwan who was once indispensable to her. At that time, Lin Wanwan was very certain. As long as he married her, he would surely be happy. I truly have no love for her. Lin Wanwan's expression was very calm. A look of joy instantly appeared on Zhu Zimo's face. Just as he was about to speak, Lin Wanwan suddenly changed the subject. But I'm quite interested in her now. Does this count as feelings in your eyes? As soon as he finished speaking, the color on Zhu Zimo's face faded. Realizing she might not love is one thing. Hearing it with your own ears is another matter. Wanwan Jie. Are you serious? Zhu Zimo's throat felt like it was holding sand. The voice sounded extremely hoarse. This blow was devastating for him. His heart and eyes were always filled with his woman. Say out loud that you're interested in another man. This was even more painful than losing everything. Lin Wanwan nodded coldly. It completely shattered his last hope. How he wished he had misheard. Or maybe Lin Wanwan was deliberately speaking out of anger. Unfortunately, none of them are. Lin Wanwan was extremely serious. Why? Zhu Zimo gripped the decoration on his bag tightly. You are not. You want to say, isn't I not deeply in love with you? Lin Wanwan ruthlessly interrupted her. The mockery in his eyes was unmistakable. But you kept rejecting my love. Does it matter whether I love you or not? I'm interested in Mu Chen. It shouldn't matter to you either. So why are you asking that? Don't you find it strange? I just don't want you to get it easily. I want you to feel like I'm going to marry you. It's all your hard work to get here. Only then will you learn to cherish me. She has always focused on me. Only then can I stand before you. In the Lin family, he finally held his head high. But I really didn't expect it. Your love for me is nothing more than this. I returned home from abroad on a financial deposit. But you're interested in other men. One wrong step really means losing everything. Zhu Zimo took a deep breath. He yanked the tassel off his bag with force. He forced himself to calm down. Can I regret it? Lin Wanwan's eyes were deep and icy. Zhu Zimo's heartfelt words made her feel for him. All that remained was a deep sense of disgust. She had been trying to control him all along. What boldness and ambition. The words I felt when I went to the bathroom were unpleasant. But it was indeed quite true. She saw that the man's abilities were terrible. I understand. Lin Wanwan's reaction was as calm as water. Something I've always been looking forward to. Now, with just a snap of his finger, he could get it. But she remained completely unmoved. You regret it? It's your own business. But now I'm married. So I'm really sorry. It was almost impossible to say it outright. Years of planning were in vain. Zhu Zimo's emotions instantly collapsed. Lin Wanwan. You really don't believe it. Her face instantly filled with tears. Anyone who sees a man would be moved to tears by tears. But once Lin Wanwan hates someone, no matter how handsome and dashing the other person was, nor could it stir even the slightest ripple in her heart. She did not respond. I don't know if he just doesn't want to respond, or was it too lazy to respond, but regardless of the situation, unintentionally, it was pushing her emotions to the brink. It made her feel even more devastated. You clearly loved me so deeply before. Why is it that now you don't love it anymore? Zhu Zimo wiped away tears while crying. His accusatory tone sounded like a wrong child. You big liar. You clearly said you'd wait for me forever. Lin Wanwan remained unmoved. She glanced at the clock on the wall. I had already gone to the restroom for 15 minutes. Did this man sneak away? Lin Wanwan's eyes grew somewhat shadowy. If this man dares to run away, don't blame him for being ruthless. I'm slow to warm up. You know that too. And at that time, I'm too young. Still naive about matters of the heart. But now I'm very certain. I love you too. It had already happened before anyone noticed. I've fallen in love with you. Zhu Zimo didn't notice at all that he wasn't listening. Her tearful complaint was extremely earnest. I dawdled out of the bathroom. He answered a call from Lu Xiubai. So the return was a bit slow. Just as he reached the door of the ward, she heard the man suppressed crying inside. He pushed the door open with a cheerful smile and spoke. Mr. Zhu, please don't cry at my wife's bedside. You don't know. I thought he was gone. Zhu Zimo's crying suddenly stopped. She turned her head and stared at me with a face full of resentment. It must be this clueless guy. What shameful and dirty tricks did he use? It captivated Sister Maramaru's mind. He spoke a lot of bad things about me behind my back. Otherwise, Maramaru has loved me for so many years. How could you just say you don't love and just don't love you anymore? Maramaru definitely has me in her heart. I definitely have a chance to turn things around. All my years of hard work, it must not be wasted. Ju Zimo's inner thoughts irritated Lin Wanwan. At the same time, he felt a deep wave of anger. His love for her was entirely part of his scheme. For so many years, it has been manipulated in the palm of your hand. For someone as proud as him, this was a huge humiliation. Don't look at me like that. I was scared. I didn't know I was leaving for 15 minutes. What happened between the two of them? But given the current situation, the two of them definitely had their talks fall apart. If I don't stir things up now, when? Dear. I was almost scared to death by him. I hurried to the bedside. Squat down and rest your chin on the edge of the bed. She looked up pitifully at Lin Wanwan. He looked at me as if he wanted to devour me. I don't think it's that bad. Why was he so angry? It's really unbearable. Lin Wanwan turned her gaze to look at me. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly. With my annoying personality. Are you sure she did something to me in your past life? Lin Wanwan still didn't quite understand at this moment. Once you truly fall in love with someone, it's like exposing your weakness to the other side. If one day the beloved wants to hurt you, you were the one who took the initiative to hand over the knife. If it weren't for the deep love, who would easily give others a chance to hurt? Mu Chen, you know when to stop. Ju Zimo's anger shot straight to his forehead. He angrily pointed at my nose. You're just here deliberately to annoy me. How could I be mad at you? Don't just accuse good people. I'm telling the absolute truth. You know perfectly well between me and Sister Wanwan. I know what I mean. I interrupted her bluntly. Playfully stuck out her tongue. I just turned 20 this year. You and Sister Maramaru are both 26 years old. When you can get close. I haven't even graduated from middle school yet. You can know what is between you. Brother Ju, I know you like Maruan. Maramaru used to like you too. But now that we're married. But if you want to be together, that's fine. After all, she could accept me finding someone else. I can't come across as petty either. Allow you to meet occasionally or something. What nonsense are you talking about? Maramaru, listen to it. She was talking about something. You say you're interested in this kind of man. I really can't believe it. 6-year-old old chef. He could only be considered a boy. Not some mature man or uncle. I retorted with a cheeky grin. It was truly satisfying. You're so angry you're feeling uncomfortable all over. Would Ju Zimo be so angry that he felt uncomfortable all over? It is still unknown at present. But he must be furious now. His body swayed slightly twice. He squeezed out 2 words through clenched teeth. Mu Chen. What's wrong? This uncle. Oh wait. It was Brother Ju. Why are you so excited calling my name? I blinked my innocent big eyes. He put on an innocent and harmless expression. Compared to him, who was in a state of rage. I definitely look more like this. Even Ju Zimo himself felt the same way. He realized he must look extremely ugly right now. He took several deep breaths. Only then did he barely manage to compose his expression. Then he stared at me with a hostile look and asked, Mu Chen, you really like playing the victim, don't you? Pretending to be pitiful. I tilted my head in confusion. Brother Ju, what does it mean to play pitiful? I don't really get it. Ju Zimo let out a cold laugh. He lowered his gaze and looked at Lin Wanwan. Wanwan Jie. She said she didn't understand the word. But you probably get it, right? Lin Wanwan's family background. And her uniquely beautiful face. It was destined that men would always surround her. But before, her eyes only had her. She always coldly refuses men who rush at her. But there have indeed been exceptions. During Lin Wanwan's high school years, a boy in her class was quite skilled. He actually gained some of her appreciation. After Ju Zimo found out, he had contact with that boy. She discovered that the other person was a typical scheming man. So, she explained the situation directly to Lin Wanwan. A detailed explanation of what a scheming man is. Lin Wanwan always listened to what she said. And ever since, I've really disliked this kind of thing. So this was her powerful counterattack at this moment. Unfortunately, Lin Wanwan now, no longer the same obedient as before. Lin Wanwan was always in line with her wishes. Lin Wanwan glanced at me indifferently. He then looked at Ju Zimo and asked in return, "Really?" Ju Zimo's body suddenly swayed. His face looked extremely uncomfortable. "Brother Ju, I was just joking with you. Of course, I know what that means. However, I'm not pretending to be pitiful. I'm just pretending to be cute." I tapped my chin with my index finger. Her smile was very charming. Pretending to be cute to women who like me. She will definitely like me even more. Such a good deal. Why wouldn't I do it? Marumaru doesn't like you at all. Ju Zimo shouted loudly. Of course I knew Lin Wanwan didn't like me. So even though they have a conflict now, Lin Wanwan was sulking with Ju Zimo. I wouldn't bet she'd cooperate with me to annoy her. After all, losing the bet would be a huge loss. Therefore, my mind raced. He uttered an invincible line. I'm a pretty thick-skinned person. Even if your Marumaru sister doesn't like me, I took it all as if she liked me. I truly am a genius. Brother Ju, although you're a bit older now, pretend to be cute. It doesn't look very cute either, but there was really no other way. To win my wife's affection, it's better for you to give it a try. My wife doesn't say anything out loud, but maybe deep down, he really likes it. What I said was as rude as I could be, as infuriating as it could be. Calling him wife over and over made him furious. If it was someone with slightly weaker self-control, by now, he was already furious and cursing loudly. But Ju Zimo was still scheming. Otherwise, Wanwan wouldn't have fallen in love with him. So he knew the situation before the scene. Trying to turn the tide is impossible. His grip on the bag loosened slightly. He forced a faint, unpleasant smile. Mu Chen, you are still too young to experience it. A man's charm is not just about being cute. But that's okay. I will prove it to you. What kind of man is best suited for her? I shrugged indifferently. My attitude was even more infuriating than what I said. She was afraid that if she stayed any longer, I'd drive her crazy. He looked at Lin Wanwan with a pale face and said, Wanwan, I'm not feeling well, so I'll leave first. I'll come see you again tomorrow. As soon as he finished speaking, she received no response from the woman. In the past, she would have only said she was feeling unwell. Lin Wanwan would become especially nervous. Treat her like a fragile baby. Even though she had been abroad for 5 years. When you feel unwell, she would arrange for someone to take her to the hospital. He took care of her with meticulous care. But now, she was completely indifferent. If this isn't about not loving anymore, then what else could it be? Ju Zimo's eyes were red. After all, he didn't want his dignity to be trampled into the dirt. Without saying another word, he turned and left. So unwilling. Could it be that I've worked so hard for so many years? In the end, is it impossible to step into the Lin family? I really can't accept it. Absolutely not. I absolutely can't give up so easily. With my background, I want to marry a prominent woman. It's really too hard. Only with Lin Wanwan was there a glimmer of hope. As long as there's even a little hope, I want to hold on to it. Otherwise, I can only be a lowly person. Lin Wanwan lowered her gaze and listened to her thoughts. A flash of deep mockery flashed in his eyes. She wanted to change her lowly status by taking her. This was her sole purpose from beginning to end. Poor that her sincere heart was betrayed. One mistake lasts for such a long time. It was getting late. I should go back too. There are still classes at school tomorrow. Ju Zimo had already left. I no longer need to pretend to be cute. His tough face returned to his icy expression. How fast you change your attitude. It's a pity not to perform opera. Lin Wanwan's lips curled into a distinct smile. He seemed to be in a very good mood. She was able to love Ju Zimo back then. First, Ju Zimo truly had some means. Second, she happens to be the type she likes. But I was the complete opposite of her. But for some reason, the more she looks at me, the more she likes me. I even found my annoying appearance cute. Lin Wanwan felt she must have gone mad. Could it be because of my sorrowful heartfelt voices? Did you know I once loved her deeply, which is why I felt this way? She herself couldn't figure it out. She only knew that before she figured out what I had been through. There's no way I'll let myself leave her side. If you dare to listen, I dare to sing. I replied expressionlessly. Daring to appear in a game costs 30 million per match. Lin Wanwan couldn't help but burst out laughing. You really dare to ask for an outrageous price. You dare to listen. What else could I not dare to ask for? I stood up. He planned to pat his clothes and leave. Let the caregiver take good care of you tonight. No, it is not allowed. Lin Wanwan disagreed, not because she couldn't bear to part with me, but he was afraid I'd go to psychiatric clinics and bring people over again. Now, thinking back to that crazy man that afternoon, his mood was still a bit unsettled. My brows furrowed with jealousy. Just as she was about to say a few words to him, when Xiuzhen walked in from outside, I shouted inwardly, "Today is truly helpless." Just after seeing Zhu Zimo off, when Xiuzhen came again, "I'm a fighter, and I can get up late at night. Look, I was carrying my backpack, ready to leave." When Xiuzhen questioned with a displeased expression, "You're getting ready to leave?" I nodded coldly. "It's too late. Not going back. My mom should be worried. Just forget it." When Xiuzhen sneered with a face full of mockery, "Your stepmother will still worry about you. She wishes you wouldn't come back. No one competed with her own son for the family fortune. If you can't talk, just be quiet. The neighbor is wealthy and wealthy. That single stitch and stitch definitely wouldn't be missing." I couldn't be bothered to argue with her here. After saying that, he slung his bag over his shoulder and stopped walking out. This time, when Xiuzhen had learned her lesson, he didn't reach out to stop me. After I leave the ward, when Xiuzhen quickly walked to the bedside, placed the insulated lunchbox on the bedside table. "Daughter, Mom personally made chicken soup for you. This car accident has damaged your foundation. You must take good care of your health. Have a few more bowls later." Lin Wanwan nodded calmly. No words were spoken. When Xiuzhen poured chicken soup into her bowl, while quietly observing her expression. After pouring out, he casually said to the fourth wheel, "I just ran into Zimo downstairs. I saw her eyes were red. Did you two have a fight?" "No." "Then why did she do it?" "I know what you want to find out." Lin Wanwan interrupted when Xiuzhen. His gaze was calm and unruffled. "I said so. Except for Grandpa Lin. No one can decide my marriage. As for my feelings, and no one has the right to interfere or decide." The more she spoke, the more spiritual energy in her eyes became. When Xiuzhen's throat tightened, he wanted to speak but didn't dare to speak. In the end, he could only sigh helplessly. Afterwards, she served Lin Wanwan 2 bowls of chicken soup. So he packed up his things and left. Xu Jieqi was standing outside the door when Xiuzhen walked past her. Then he retreated. His gaze was full of scrutiny as he looked at her. "Assistant Xu, you were standing outside the whole time. Do you know Zimo is inside? What happened between the 3 of them?" When Xiuzhen moved closer to Xu Jieqi, he whispered in her ear. Xu Jieqi's eyes flickered slightly. He gently shook his head. "Mr. Lin explained, when others are present, let me stay a little farther from the ward. So I don't know anything." When Xiuzhen stabbed her tongue in dissatisfaction, his expression looked a bit unpleasant. But after all, Xu Jieqi was Wanwan's person. She didn't dare show too much attitude. He could only turn around angrily and leave. I left the hospital and went straight home. Zhu Hualan was sitting on the sofa in the living room. Face masks are applied to the face. Watching TV. Hearing the sound of the door opening, he turned around. I saw that I had just returned from outside. He took the mask he had just applied to his face. "Why are you back so late at night?" "Back there, it's just me and Auntie. I live on the 2nd floor by myself. Fear fills my heart." I put the key on the entryway shoe cabinet. He walked into the living room and sat down beside her. "Besides, there's no place where Shushin lives at home." Zhu Hualan shot me a sideways glance. He let out a cold snort. "Although you plan to marry into Lin Wanwan and divorce her, but you just got married and came home a couple of days later. Let people know. Who knows how they'll gossip about you. I don't care what others say about me." I grabbed the grapes from the fruit plate and tossed them into my mouth. She leaned back on the sofa, looking completely content. "Even if no woman wants me in the future, I don't care at all. I'll spend my whole life by your side, which perfectly suits my wishes. And yet here you are talking nonsense." Zhu Hualan glared at me with annoyance. "Besides, I'll kick you out of the house. Let you take care of yourself when you're outside." I smiled indifferently. "You would be willing to send me away. You're not the one I carried for 10 months. Why can't I bear to let go?" If this had been before my rebirth, hearing this would definitely make her very unhappy. This leads to even greater opinions about her. But now, it was completely different. I swallowed the sweet grapes in my mouth. I stood up from the soft sofa. "You already guessed it. I'll be back tonight. Otherwise, there wouldn't be grapes on the coffee table." "Mom, you always feel so uncomfortable with your heart. Sooner or later, they would suffer a big loss. Chu Hualan let out a soft eat sound. What I suffered most was not sending you away sooner. How much food at home was wasted for nothing. I let out a dark laugh. I will continue to eat free food for many years. You feel bad inside. I guess I can only endure it. No sooner had he finished speaking, I jogged upstairs. Mu Chen, when will you move your things back? Chu Hualan stood up and shouted at me. I stopped going upstairs. He turned to look downstairs. I'm planning to move tomorrow. Can you help me contact a moving company? Did I owe you in a past life? Chu Hualan shouted angrily. I knew she would definitely help me get in touch. He went upstairs with a big smile. I returned to my long-missed cozy room. I took a deep breath. The scent of lavender fills the nostrils. It helped my tense nerves relax. Before my rebirth, after getting married, I rarely came back. But every time I come back, the room is very clean. The scent of lavender fills the air. Even if I don't come back for a long time, she also regularly cleans my room. Unfortunately, my brain wasn't very sharp in my previous life. He noticed but didn't think carefully about why. I sighed softly. He walked up to the spacious wardrobe. He reached out to open the wardrobe door. Inside were neatly arranged clean pajamas. I smiled knowingly. Carrying pajamas, she walked into the bathroom. Once the nerves are completely relaxed, I couldn't help but feel a wave of sleepiness. Afraid of falling asleep in the bathtub, I gave up on the idea of a comfortable bath. After a quick hot shower, I left the bathroom. Lie down on a soft bed. I let out a comfortable peeping sound. It feels so good. Studying at the beautiful age of 20. Go out and have fun with friends in your free time. To live joyfully and happily for yourself. Isn't that just like rallying around a woman? Her mood was always up to her to arrange the quilt on the wall. Those who have tasted the bitterness of life. After that, he didn't want to endure any more bitterness. I'm in this relaxed state right now. I rolled over, thinking about what to do at school tomorrow. As he thought about it, he fell into a deep sleep. Early the next morning, when I got up and went downstairs, he saw Chu Hualan making a phone call. I didn't go over to disturb her. He stood quietly in place and listened for a couple of sentences. I could tell they were communicating with a moving company. I turned around and poured a glass of warm water. After she hung up the phone, I immediately handed over the water cup. Mom, you've really worked hard. Chu Hualan glanced at me, probably in a pretty good mood today, but the water cup didn't respond. Mom, I want to find a hospital for clinical study. See if anyone works in a hospital. Doctors and all that are fine. With acquaintances going, everything becomes convenient. Chu Hualan squinted her eyes. I really enjoyed my massage outfit. My stomach has been uncomfortable for the past few years. I once visited a doctor at Tonghe Hospital. Don't be fooled by how young the other party is, but his medical skills were indeed quite impressive. I've been there many times to see it. I gradually became familiar with him. Later, I added my personal contact information. Over the years, they have kept in touch on and off. I can help you ask about his situation. That's wonderful. I knew it. It's best to scold someone. Wherever you go, you can make useful friends. I now know how to get along with her. If you go along with the coaxing, everything is easy to talk about. No matter how proud she was by nature, faced with such flattering words, she was too embarrassed to speak to me. He just glared at me and said nothing more. Enjoyed a hearty breakfast. So I went out and took the bus to school. I left early today. When I arrived at school, I sent a message to Lu Shubai. She said she had just gotten up. I had no choice but to go to the classroom where I was teaching. Inside, we found the seat we usually sit in. It has already been taken by someone else. A stranger sat on the chair. I've never seen her in class before. As he walked past her, I glanced at her curiously a couple more times. Unexpectedly, the girl suddenly looked up. Our eyes met. I awkwardly nodded at her. Hello? The girl looked completely indifferent. Without saying a word, he lowered his head again. This made me not only embarrassed, and he even looks like an outsider. I frowned slightly, although he felt a bit displeased. But there's no need to argue with rude people, so I said nothing. He sat a little farther away from her. After I put away my backpack, he took out a thick autopsy book. Review the material from the previous lesson. I'm someone who can easily focus when reading. They are not easily disturbed by outside voices. So when things get noisy around you. I felt disturbed and looked up. The classroom was already filled with students. I was instantly stunned. Because none of the students in the classroom knew me, my brain reacted pretty quickly. It took only 2 seconds to realize they had entered the wrong classroom. He immediately grabbed his books and backpack and headed toward the door. Isn't that Mu Chen from the medical department? How did he end up with us? Looks like he must have entered the wrong classroom. The corner of my mouth twitched slightly. His steps quickened even further. Although I kept a very low profile after entering university, but I did excellently on the exams. He also looks quite good. Plus, Lu Xiubai kept praising me everywhere. It's really hard not to become famous. I ran out of the classroom in a bit panicked. He glanced back at the classroom door number. He kept reciting himself hard in his heart. He had slept well last night. Waking up in the morning also feels full of energy. How could I possibly end up on the wrong floor for class? I walked upstairs while checking my watch. There are only 2 minutes left before class starts. I hurried upstairs. Finally, as the piercing ringtone rang out, I happened to run to the classroom door. The professor on the podium glanced at me. He just waved for me to come in quickly. So I planned to start lecturing. My gaze searched for Lu Xiubai. He quickly walked over and sat down beside him. Brother Chen, didn't you arrive at school a long time ago? Why are you only entering the classroom now? Lu Xiubai leaned close to my ear and whispered in my ear. Don't mention it. I just walked into the wrong classroom. Too focused on reading. Didn't notice. I propped the back book against the desk to block it. He lowered his head, his face full of frustration, and struck and repelled. Lu Xiubai really couldn't hold back his laughter. I looked at him sternly. Give a warning with your eyes. Seeing that I was genuinely feeling very frustrated, he struggled to hold back his laughter. He didn't dare make any further moves. The two whispered among themselves, making quite a bit of noise. The old professor looked over at us. He stopped his lecture and coughed heavily. The classmates followed their gaze and looked over. Now things are great. He also experienced the feeling of awkwardness. Both of them instantly became obedient. I began to listen attentively to the professor's lectures. As the lesson was coming to an end, out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone walking outside, although it only passed in an instant. But even if he turns to ashes, I'll recognize him. It was none other than Zhu Zimo. How did he end up at H University? I furrowed my brows and stared outside for a while. The bell finally rang for the end of class. I quickly packed my backpack. She grabbed Lu Xiubai and headed out of the classroom. I just saw Zhu Zimo. What's going on, Zhu Zimo? Lu Xiubai looked utterly surprised. Did he come back from abroad? I didn't tell him about this news yesterday. He didn't want his mind to get overwhelmed. Lost in thought, all sorts of nonsense. Second, she was afraid he would make a fuss and demand to settle scores with Zhu Zimo. Ever since he found out I liked Lin Wanwan, and after Lin Wanwan fell for Zhu Zimo, he found Zhu Zimo extremely displeased. Whenever they met, they would always respond at least a couple of lines. But because Lin Wanwan was protecting her, she never gains any benefit each time. Instead, he was holding back a belly full of frustration. Right now, I just have to nod and admit it. She dared to search the entire place for someone. Calm down first, don't get worked up. Lin Wanwan didn't show any protective reaction at all, so don't rush to confront her just yet. How could that be? You're taking it out. I have to get angry too. You know what happened before. Her words implied how unpleasant I sounded, and rumors about me were spreading outside. She had secretly spread all of it. She's just jealous of my good family background. People who think my personality is like mine, and those who are not ambitious, just by family background, and thus be highly valued and valued. He felt the world was unfair. Lu Xiubai also had some skill in reading people. He had analyzed Zhu Zimo's psychology perfectly. No way. Lu Xiubai, you can do it. I looked at him with a scrutinizing gaze. It was like meeting him for the first time. I really underestimated you before. They thought you were just pure and happy. Where's the young master with an empty mind? You should hurry and get aside. He angrily raised his hand in address. He gently patted my shoulder. Why do you hate him just as much? All right. I'm just joking. I held his hand tightly. If you really like what I just said, how could he possibly get into H University? You're just in a lot of things. This is actually a good thing. She really loved hearing that. She pouted at me proudly. Then he grinned. Guess you know how to talk, kid. Reluctantly. Forgive your teasing. I saw her happy expression. He squeezed her shoulder. I wondered what she was here for. Help me find out the situation together. You can tell just by asking around. Lu Xiubai glanced around. She had just passed by here. Let me see. Who can know the inside story? Hello, Fanjiro. Come over here quickly. Not far away, a girl was standing against the wall. He glanced over at us. Then he slowly walked over. Xiubai, what's wrong with calling me? Fanjiro looked utterly weary. I'm dozing off right now. All you do is sleep every day. Let me ask you about someone. A man had just walked down the corridor. Do you see where he went? Fanjiro opened her eyes slightly. After a few seconds of silence, he spoke slowly. He held the onboarding form in his hand. It must be a new teacher. He must have gone to the principal's office. He came to H University as a teacher. Lu Xiubai stared wide-eyed in disbelief. No way, he deserves to be a teacher too. He just came back from studying abroad, how could he not be worthy? I looked utterly disdainful. She went to the school she attended abroad. If you have money, you can get in. No one knows how much money was spent back then. She has now returned to China to be a teacher. You really think you're pretty good, huh? The more Lu Xiubai spoke, the more upset he felt. With that, he strode toward the stairwell. It was obvious he was going to cause her trouble. I hurriedly reached out and grabbed her. Xiubai, don't be so anxious. Even if we don't go looking for her, she will come looking for us sooner or later. She turned to look at me with a puzzled expression. How do you know? Yesterday, I made her lose face in front of Wanwan. Now that everyone is at H University, he became the new teacher at H University. He definitely wanted to take this opportunity to turn the tables and teach me a lesson while you're at it. I curled my lips into a slight smile. Her smile was full of confidence. I know him very well now. Lu Xiubai has always trusted me, and seeing me speak so confidently, he was angry and compromised with Nu Sui. All right then, I'll listen to your trust this once. Waiting for him to come to her door. The next class is about to start. I gave Fanjiro a polite smile. Thank you. So we'll head back to class first. Fanjiro nodded lazily. She raised her hand and patted him on the shoulder. Then he walked back to his original spot and leaned against the wall to search. Lu Xiubai muttered quietly as he looked at him. He really is a strange person. I just like to sleep leaning against the wall. He wasn't sure if he could really fall asleep. This behavior is either a habit that most people can't figure out, or they have some kind of purpose. I lowered my gaze and looked at him. His face was full of meaning. Lu Xiu said, "Isn't it time for you to fall in love?" Fanjiro truly has a unique personality. She has always been a loner at school. At first, I was puzzled by such a withdrawn person. How could they be familiar with her? Later, I heard she was the chairwoman of the Fan group. That is, Fan Ming's daughter who was outside. Fan Ming was in a serious car accident. His wife and daughter were also in the car. In the end, only she was rescued and brought back to life. After waking up, he had someone call him to the bedside. The meaning was obvious. It was from this point onward. He began to passionately pursue Lu Xiubai. And she pursued her with great care. That's why I said these things now. How can you speak without any coherence? He looked at me a little strangely. And I've already told you before. I definitely don't want to get caught up in romantic entanglements. I want to live happily alone for a lifetime. If there is someone who can love you for a lifetime, definitely happier than alone. I retorted with a cheerful smile. He shook his head. Forget it. I don't believe it. Such a long-lasting relationship. Even in fairy tales, princes aren't necessarily the same person. If you don't believe me, go check it yourself. All right, you're the most knowledgeable. I trust you, isn't that enough? At that moment, the bell for class rang in my ears. I decisively ended the topic. She quickly dragged him back to the classroom. Halfway through class, he leaned close to my ear and whispered, "When will he come to see us? We have to wait until this class ends." But after this class, it was time for lunch break. Under my teasing gaze, he stared at me. He gritted his teeth and continued, "Lunch break is supposed to be eaten. I'm hungry." He is a true food lover. Every meal a day must be skipped. The rest of the time, his mouth couldn't stay idle either. At mealtime, he wouldn't let him eat. It was more painful than anything else. Then hurry up and go eat. I waited for him alone. How could that be? How could I leave you alone? Am I the kind of person who doesn't want to be together? He spoke with absolute seriousness. It was as if I had just been suspecting him. I know his character all too well. He asked amusingly. You've really thought it through. I don't plan to eat lunch. He clearly hadn't made up his mind. In my heart, I both wanted a hearty lunch. But she didn't want to leave me alone. He struggled for quite a while. He suddenly pulled her with joy. Didn't you say he would come to you? Then let's go to the cafeteria. He would also come looking for her. That's true. We really didn't turn around just now. I have no idea at all. Flexible and adaptable. He quickly packed his backpack. Let's hurry and go. Wait a little longer. The dishes I love are gone. I gave him a deep look. She didn't say we went to the cafeteria. He might not go looking for it. This shows extreme concern for status and position. Strive to look high-end. A man of unparalleled nobility. Places like school cafeterias that are down to earth. He was unwilling to go casually. But even if he doesn't come looking for me, I'll face him in other ways in the future. 1 or 2 chances wouldn't matter. It's just a pity that he couldn't play the chess he once did. I just underestimated it. The extent of the impact of yesterday's events. When I saw him accompanied by a female teacher. When I walked into the crowded cafeteria, he was slightly surprised for a moment. Then, I guessed he might be too concerned. I'd rather humble myself and come here. You also have to come to me and explain things clearly. I bit down on the tip of my chopsticks. His eyes curved with laughter. Lu Shu said, look back. Who came? He was busy eating heartily. He had no interest in listening to me. Even Zhu Zimo had come right up to him. Only then did he lift his eyes and glance at the other person. At first, I didn't catch on. She looked at him again. Only then did he realize and widen his eyes. Long time no see. Zhu Zimo smiled gently and refined. His face was neatly arranged. Wearing the latest high-end suit of the season. Wearing an expensive watch on her wrist. It can be said to be quite valuable. Big Eyes immediately recognized him as a successful person. Or a wealthy young master. Isn't this young Master Zhu? With such a noble status. Wouldn't coming here be a mistreatment for you? He immediately put down his chopsticks. He even stopped eating his favorite meal. He instantly switched to defensive mode. Compared to me as the main character, Zhu Zimo was actually more targeted at him. Just like now, with a look of utter disdain. He spoke without holding back. Although he didn't make a direct move. But the verbal clashes were also intense. Every time, it makes people feel very uncomfortable. How could he not mind? Zhu Zimo's expression turned a bit grim. Because she was eager to find me to handle yesterday's matter. He had actually forgotten about the existence of Lu Shu Bai. With Lin Wanwan absent. This straightforward guy is simply a problem for him. The female teacher who accompanied her listened. His expression was starting to look a bit strange. This student. Be mindful of your words. This is disrespectful to others. Be careful not to cause unnecessary trouble. Zhu Zimo's gaze was very serious. The momentum was very strong. He really did have the demeanor of a teacher. Unnecessary trouble. He let out a soft laugh. Being abroad is truly different. He spoke with more confidence than before. This not only gives them confidence. She even selectively forgot about the past. Then wouldn't my wife become an outsider? All these years of friendship were wasted. I quickly joined in from the side. This line is packed with a lot of information. Teacher Chen, who was traveling with us, looked utterly embarrassed. Teacher Zhu. Are you old acquaintances of these 2 classmates? I do know them. Of course, he couldn't let Teacher Chen delve into our words. He furrowed his brows and explained deliberately. But there was a bit of a misunderstanding between us. So they spoke a bit harshly. She appeared very calm. He deliberately left room for negotiation. It reveals the steadiness of a mature man. It really builds a sense of trust. So that's how it is. A smile appeared on Teacher Chen's face again. There was a hint of defense in his tone. I said, Teacher Zhu wouldn't be like that. To display his dignity, his manners were appropriate. Zhu Zimo did have good external qualities. He deliberately maintained his composure. Take a casual walk around the school. Not to mention 100% attention. At the very least, it can attract quite a few single female teachers. It leaves a very good impression. Teacher Chen was naturally one of them. Heh. Lu Xiubai chuckled softly. But the smile didn't reach her eyes. Zhu Zimo, You heard that. Don't you feel guilty? People with good psychological resilience. Of course, you can't tell. The two work together very seamlessly. Her words were spoken with direct pain. Ju Zimo's expression changed again and again. As the saying goes, two fists can't beat four hands. No matter how eloquent he was still a martyr. He took a deep breath. He turned to look at Teacher Chen. His tone was slightly apologetic. Teacher Chen, thank you for bringing me here today. It's getting late now. Go have lunch quickly. I'll handle things here myself. I actually don't mind at all. After speaking, he walked to the empty seat next to me. He put on a posture ready to sit down for a long talk. Teacher Chen hurriedly reached out to grab her. He said with a worried expression, Teacher Ju, what else are you planning to do here? Listen to them keep saying these things. She looked at Lu Xiubai and me with disapproval. There was obvious displeasure on his face. Which major are you students in? This is a newly arrived pharmacy teacher. You should know how to respect your teachers. I didn't even glance at her. He gave Ju Zimo a faint smile. This means Lin Wangwan is not by her side. He planned to use Teacher Chen as a shield. I see this intention very clearly. He really is used to relying on others. We are students of clinical medicine. You're not a clinical medicine teacher, you? Then you're not responsible for our part. Lu Xiubai has had his own opinions since childhood. I never liked being bossed around. It certainly wouldn't be because of his teacher's status, so they completely obeyed and remained silent. Ms. Chen majored in nursing. He is not directly responsible for clinical medicine. A trace of embarrassment appeared on Teacher Chen's face, but in front of Ju Zimo, he didn't want to appear lacking in authority. He had no choice but to force himself to say it. Even if I'm not your major. You are students at school. I am a teacher at the school. I also have a responsibility to remind you. I don't want to argue with you about this. You do your duty. We can keep our attitude to ourselves. He picked up the chopsticks on the table. His face was full of disdain. Teachers from other majors. It's rare to get involved in such a thing. No, it is not allowed. Please tell us not to talk. This way, the teachers around you. Then you won't be upset. He spoke so bluntly about his thoughts. This made him feel extremely embarrassed. Ju Zimo glanced at him. His brows furrowed slightly. If this happens all the time, he could only find himself in a passive position, unable to take the initiative. Only Lin Wangwan could give him enough confidence, gaining the attention of others. So he absolutely had to handle these relationships well. I will never compromise easily. Teacher Chen couldn't say anything more about us. Afraid we'd say something even more embarrassing for him. It makes things even harder for him. So he went to Ju Zimo and Wensheng to persuade him. Teacher Ju. They were still young and hot-headed. Don't stoop to their level. Especially new teachers like you. There's no need to argue with students. What kind of teacher is he? My smile was meaningful. It was through connections. There are other ways to do it. Me. I warned you. Please watch your words. Ju Zimo was truly serious this time. His tone became very solemn. Just like Teacher Chen said. After all, I am a teacher at school. Please show basic respect. I shrugged indifferently. The smile on his face remained relaxed. I was just curious and asked. I didn't say, you're the one. There's really no need to be so nervous. How could he not be nervous and concerned? If he acts indifferent, how can you make others believe he has real talent and learning? Lu Xiubai held her chin with both hands and looked at him. Teacher Chen. Don't you agree? You are simply unreasonable. He was very rude to the teacher. I really didn't know a student had such a bad attitude. How exactly do you get into a top-tier university? It was simply a disappointment for the school. Lu Xiubai turned to look at me. Meow. He playfully imitated a cat's meow. I instantly understood what he meant. The two of them chuckled softly together. Isn't this a straightforward act of maintenance? Ju Zimo is indeed attractive. Wherever he went, he could win others' favor. Still the kind of tireless maintenance. But thinking about it, it wasn't strange. After all, his external image is indeed quite good. People with past experiences. He always tries hard to hide it in front of those who know him. If it were just me, it would be fine. Add to that the outspoken Lu Xiubai. No matter how he explained it now, it all seemed pale. I originally wanted to clear up the misunderstanding between us. Let's stay friendly from now on. Since you don't want to talk properly, then I have nothing more to say. It should be expressed. I expressed it. I hope you will mature a bit in the future. Ju Zimo stood up. He said coldly, Teacher Ju, thank you for your trouble. Seeing Teacher Chen's worried expression, he really felt it was a bit unnecessary. He spoke directly. Teacher Chen, this seemingly glamorous teacher before you. In fact, he has an extraordinary experience. His figure and head, quite valuable. It even far exceeds what ordinary people can imagine. The watch on his wrist, even rarer. Let me tell you the brand right away. You can go back and understand for yourself. So do you still think we're the ones picking a fight? We are simply stating the facts. I replied calmly with a smile. Teacher Chen's expression changed instantly. We've all made our points so clear. If he still keeps favoring him in his heart, not naive. It's just that they are deceived by appearances. I really need to wake up. After all, Teacher Chen had only just met him. He just had a good impression of him. There was no deep understanding. So he glanced at Ju Zimo. Without saying a word, he turned and left. Ju Zimo's expression was a bit awkward. He stood there in silence for a while. Teacher Ju, I know you want to talk to me about yesterday. I want to use this to illustrate the situation, but you should also consider the occasion a little. Before coming, he didn't even check who was there. After all, he was authoritarian and defiant in all sorts of ways. I teased with a big smile. Of course, I won't back down easily now. He just hadn't fully accepted it yet. I had no reason to hide. You say he's authoritarian and unyielding. You're exaggerating. Ju Zimo said, suppressing his emotions. I'm not trying to prove anything. From now on, I will be working at H University. It's inevitable that we run into each other on campus from time to time. I just felt it was necessary to say hello. What kind of teacher are you even teaching? I'm really a bit curious. May I ask you? Are you studying medicine abroad? His face was full of doubt. She looked at him with his eyes, waiting for an answer. Ju Zimo's expression shifted slightly. I then adjusted my expression. His tone was extremely calm. I have a pharmacist qualification certificate. Able to be a pharmacy teacher. He didn't answer Lu Xiubai directly. Lu Xiubai truly admired him. Clearly lacking in reason and confidence. And yet he could act so calm. You don't feel like you're making excuses now. Does he look like a clown? I glanced down at my watch. If I were you, save some face for yourself early, instead of waiting until lunch ended. Let's go first. As soon as he finished speaking, I got up and charged at Liu Yang's head. He gestured for him to leave together. The two walked side by side. He strode away in front of Ju Zimo. Ju Zimo stood where he was. His eyes glared angrily at our backs. He gritted his teeth in anger. I used to be timid in front of him, not daring to provoke him at all. 5 years can bring many things. It can also change a person. He wasn't surprised that I ended up like this, but he still couldn't accept it for the moment. The young master who used to only watch his mood. Suddenly, she dared to give him a cold look, especially when faced with my mocking looks. He simply couldn't stay calm. He didn't want me to realize it. You can hold your head high and hold your head high. Living without restraint. Lu Xiubai vented his anger on me. My mood was especially pleasant. The afternoon class ended. I once again refused Lu Xiu's free invitation. He went straight to the hospital. Lin Wangwan used to be a workaholic, rarely lying in bed every day. But now he has to stay in bed all day. The discomfort was imaginable. I was in a pretty good mood. Smiling broadly, he entered the ward. Compared to Lin Wangwan's cold expression, creating a stark contrast. Who are you looking so upset for? Just don't show me. Otherwise, I'll leave immediately. I thought to myself. Lin Wangwan, who had intended to give me a cold shoulder. He took a deep breath. He asked in a reluctant tone. School is over. I nodded expressionlessly. Isn't that obvious? I can come here before school ends. It seems his brain is truly injured. Lin Wangwan was silent for a few seconds. He felt as if he was lying dazed in his hospital bed. She was a bit annoyed, wanting to lose his temper. But you can't get angry at me. Otherwise, I would have left in a fit of anger. She had to face the annoying caregiver again. So he could only force himself to hold back his anger. What to eat for dinner? After I asked, I remembered something. He then continued speaking. Forgot. You can only drink porridge now. Lin Wangwan's expression darkened even more. Even these past few days, they've been drinking soups and drinks. anyone would find it hard to endure. Lin Wangwan felt there was no taste in her mouth. Your mother will deliver it, right? I put my backpack aside. He sat down on the chair beside him, leisurely crossing his legs. Wait until your mom brings it over and finish eating. So I went home. The so-called taking care of me you talk about. Just watch me finish eating and leave. Lin Wangwan asked coldly. What else could it be? I raised my eyebrows. How do you expect me to take care of you? Take care of me closely. You're bored, aren't you? Lin Wangwan laughed in exasperation. Mu Chen, just you wait. I looked up at the sky. Anyway, if she could move, she'd definitely settle the score. Now, with a lot of debt, it doesn't weigh down you. Taking advantage of her not to get too angry would be worth it. If you can make her angry, that's already a win. Mu Chen, do you think you can make me angry? The woman's questions echoed the voice of her heart. I was startled. He looked at her warily. She surely knows what I'm thinking. This is absolutely impossible. It must have been just a coincidence. But this woman was truly terrifying. Someone with no interest was right in front of her, as if holding nothing back. I don't think so. I crossed my arms in front of myself. He quietly looked at the woman before him. My skills aren't strong enough. You got into a car accident too early. Give them another 2 years, it should work. Lin Wangwan sneered. I never noticed you were so sharp-tongued before. I hadn't realized it before. No different from a fool. Now I'm opening up. He looked much sharper. I sneered. My mouth is truly inherited from Chu Hualan. It's hard to get a bargain from my mouth. Whether it was Zhu Zimo or Lin Wangwan, none of them are my match. After that, neither of them spoke. The ward fell into a deathly silence. Until when Xiuzhen arrives and breaks the silence. Daughter, Mom knows you have no appetite for porridge. Today, chicken was added to the porridge. Could you drink more? Unlike the past when you saw me and always looked for faults. Today, when Xiu really didn't see me, until she poured the porridge into her bowl. After picking it up, she gave me a cold glance. Some people say it nicely. Promise what will be done. When the time has come, it's time to act. But she simply couldn't do it. As soon as he finished speaking, she let out a few mocking laughs. I laughed along with him. He just smiled with a slightly honest smile. Who's being sarcastic here? As long as I pretend not to understand. You're not talking about me. I simply refuse to accept the tea. Let's see if you're feeling upset inside. Lin Wangwan, lying on the hospital bed, glanced at me. A faint smile flickered in his eyes. Seeing that I was just stunned and didn't speak, when Xiuzhen complained angrily. What bad luck. Causing a car accident to your daughter. How could I not be unlucky? Can you avoid mentioning the word car accident? When Xiuzhen shouted angrily. Her beloved daughter suffered hardship. She was heartbroken. Those 2 words were completely unacceptable. All right, I do pulling exercises aimed at my mouth. It looks even more infuriating. When Xiuzhen took several deep breaths, he barely suppressed the anger in his heart, grabbed my hand and handed me the bowl. Take good care of my daughter. That's what you said yourself. She will continue to take care of her when she is discharged. You're not allowed to go home tonight either. I lowered my gaze to look at the bowl in my hand. A hint of sly flashed in his eyes. But I have to go to school. Going to school. When Xiuzhen's expression changed. Didn't you drop out? Isn't this you asking me to get a divorce? What can you do if you divorce and don't go back to school? Fortunately, my grades are excellent. The counselor doesn't want to lose me as a talent. I didn't submit the withdrawal application. Only then could I continue my studies at school. Otherwise, someone might ruin your life. Lin Wangwan was extremely annoyed with others interfering. Annoyed by elders interfering in romantic marriages. I'm saying this to put Wen Xiuzhen in the spotlight. He also gave himself a big compliment. And he countered with a sarcastic tone. Just as expected. Lin Wangwan's expression immediately darkened. His gaze toward Wen Xiuzhen was gloomy. Wen Xiuzhen nervously avoided her gaze. Then he stiffened his neck and retorted. It's not me who asked you to get a divorce. She was the one who brought it up first. As soon as he finished speaking, she stared at me with a face full of annoyance. How can you make up such lies, kid? I shrugged indifferently. He spoke with a calm smile. Maybe I remembered wrong. How could I remember wrong? It was clearly said on purpose. No matter the situation, this was also a way out for Wen Xiuzhen. Although Wen Xiuzhen was displeased, but his expression did look much better. Tonight, You stay and take care of Wanwan. She couldn't move right now. I don't feel comfortable leaving it to someone else to take care of. When Xiuzhen pointed to the bowl in my hand. I still have some things to take care of. You feed the porridge to Wanwan. That really sounds nice. I don't feel comfortable leaving it to someone else to look after. If you're worried, why not take care of it yourself? To put it bluntly, he just wants to mess with me. Deliberately not letting me live comfortably. Leaving it to me to take care of him is the worst. Maybe one day I'll be in a bad mood. Just settle old scores with your daughter. This time, Lin Wanwan couldn't even laugh when she heard that. She was indeed in danger now. This is no joke. I remained calm as I held the handle of the spoon. He turned to look at Lin Wanwan. Don't worry. I will take good care of her. I pronounced the word how very hard. Lin Wanwan's eyes darkened slightly. His face was full of warning. I quickly looked away. Pretend you see nothing. When Xiuzhen saw that I wasn't going against my mind anymore. So he didn't say anything more. He turned around, grabbed his bag, and left. As he left, he deliberately said to Shu Jiaqi at the door, if she leaves, let me know. Today, I have no choice but not to stay. If I leave now, it was to crush Wen Xiuzhen's reputation. She would only indulge her if she didn't go crazy then. After Wen Xiuzhen had gone far, I patiently comforted Lin Wanwan. During this time, neither of them spoke. The ward was extremely quiet. I noticed she kept her eyes downcast. Suddenly, he looked up and looked behind me. I turned my head with a puzzled look. The woman standing behind her was tall and slender, very close to me. It felt like facing a wall. It startled me out of nowhere. I frowned and looked up, faced with a cynical face. I know this woman very well. She is Lin Wanwan's cousin, daughter of Wen Xiuzhen's younger brother. Her name was Mu Yulu. Mu Yulu used to be just like Lin Wanwan. They all really dislike me. The reason was simply that I felt unworthy. Not worthy of the cousin she admired. Every time they saw me, they couldn't help but mock me with sarcasm. If it were just sarcasm, it would be one thing. I could have chosen to turn a blind eye. It won't cause me any real harm. But the shower gel is not in the right mind. He often trips me up behind the scenes. So I absolutely despise her. How could I have forgotten this person? I've suffered losses at her hands plenty of times before. If I have time, I should teach her a lesson. My freshman, Lin Wanwan, heard it. The look in her eyes toward the shower gel was somewhat displeased. Her cousin had been annoying since she was little. Not only does she hold grudges with her little heart. Someone you dislike looking at. Even if he hadn't offended her. She also wanted to come up with a bad trick to tease him. He's just a guy with a dark heart. If I had experienced those. She must have been bullied by shower gel quite a lot. You need to restrain yourself. Lin Wanwan spoke up. A cold warning. The first thing she said when she saw the shower gel was this. It sounded quite baffling to my ears. But the shower gel understood what she meant. She raised an eyebrow in surprise. It felt somewhat unbelievable. Doesn't my cousin really dislike me? Why suddenly defend me? I don't want to confront shower gel head-on. Place the bowl on the bedside table. He stood up and stepped aside. Lin Wanwan looked displeased. He spoke in a cold tone. I haven't finished my porridge yet. Eat less at night. Good for your health. I smiled faintly. Lin Wanwan hadn't even had a chance to speak yet. The body wash beside her made a cold cry. I think you're afraid of me. I didn't dare to sit here any longer. You're right and not right. Didn't you see you run into me at school? I just take a detour. I'm just afraid you'll have a bad temper. I myself am unlucky. What if your temper gets slammed in? If my life were to die, it would be miserable. I said this while giving her a slight bow. His attitude seemed very flattering. But the words I said just didn't match up. The shower dew made her face more than half dark. Whenever she bullied me, I didn't dare to say a word to refute him. Now, for the first time, a counterattack has arrived. This made her feel an unusual anger. Mu Chen, don't think you married my sister. You can stare at the sky in one step. You can look down on everyone. In my sister's eyes, you are nothing. You are nothing. Mu Yulu was always harsh in her words. I've heard too many harsh words. He had long been completely immune. My expression changed slightly. He still kept smiling cheerfully. You overthinking it. I have always had a clear understanding of myself. There's no need to toil yourself out. A special reminder. At first glance, my words sounded very pleasant. but it still makes people feel very uncomfortable. Wanting to lose his temper, but getting angry makes you seem petty. The shower gel was completely disgusted. The best way to deal with such people, it's about dealing with it in the same way. Unfortunately, shower gel doesn't understand this principle. I think you're just too comfortable. Body wash rushed toward me. His expression was fierce. Today, I won't teach you a proper lesson. I wrote my name backwards. My expression was very calm. He didn't feel scared at all. He even stood there motionless. What a silly kid. If she causes trouble and it makes the news, not just their family. Even the Lin family was about to get caught up in turmoil. This led to a decline in the company's stock price. By then, who knows how much the loss would be. Hurry up and get to work. Don't dawdle. Lin Wangwan's expression instantly darkened. The voice shouted sternly, "Body wash. Do you think I don't exist?" The shower gel immediately stopped in her tracks. He turned back and complained with a hint of grievance. "Sis," she spoke so harshly. "Who among you really spoke harshly?" Lin Wangwan felt both amused and a headache coming on. She looked at the shower gel with a stern gaze. "But you can't hit anyone. I didn't plan to hit her. Even if I have a bad temper with shower gel, nor would he act rashly. He really has principles." I regretfully pricked my tongue. He continued to press on with a provocative face. "You're not going to hit me. Why did you rush over in such a rage? Don't tell me you want to give me a massage?" Mu Chen. Mu Yulu's eyes were bloodshot. He was almost driven mad with rage. No one had ever been able to make her this angry. Although everything has a first time. But she didn't want this person to be Mu Chen. Why should those who once bowed their heads? Now, not only do they hold their heads high, he also dealt her a heavy blow. The more Mu Yulu thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. "I'm here. No need to call her name. Shout so loudly." I reached out and scratched my ear. It just makes people even angrier. "Mu Chen. I don't know what triggered you. But I'm not my cousin. Be careful with me." Body wash warned through gritted teeth. "Are you threatening me?" I raised an eyebrow. "Perhaps we must part for 1,000 years. I was truly afraid. A nuisance like you. I shouldn't have said that word, right? I'm really sorry. I just slipped of the tongue for a moment. You adults have a lot. Don't take it to heart. Are you about to lose your mind? If you have the guts, come and hit me." He had never met someone like this in his entire life. He was actually eager to get beaten. Mu Chen isn't out of his mind right now. It's just that there's something wrong with your heart. How could a normal person think that? The shower gel really is driving me crazy. He clenched his fist several times, then released it. She also knew not to act rashly, especially in front of Lin Wangwan. So the anger holding in his chest, the anger inside her stomach, it simply cannot be released. The discomfort was imaginable. I saw she just glared at me fiercely. He showed no intention of making a move. He also knew that no matter how much he provoked him, it wouldn't work. Instantly, all interest vanished. He turned and walked toward the water dispenser to get some water. Looks like we'll have to think of other ways in the future. She must be taught a profound lesson, so she wouldn't dare to provoke me again. It's best to take a detour as soon as you see me. Lin Wangwan listened to my inner thoughts. His expression grew even darker, bathing in jade dew. No matter who he is today,